Well, hello everybody and welcome, a warm welcome to episode 200, that is 200. It is the E&S Wolves podcast and it's live, as Martin Tyler would say. Delighted to welcome you all to this very, very special event. Look, we hope to do it in front of a live studio audience. Of course, the nature of the pandemic and everything that's going on and the craziness outside, we weren't able to do that. But we thought, you know, what else are you doing on a Thursday night at 7 o'clock? So want to give a little bit back. We're here for two very, very important reasons. And look, we miss you all. And hopefully very, very soon I'll be able to give you a kiss and a cuddle and a hug outside Molyneux doing those videos. However, stick with us for the next 2 hours-ish, I think, of Wolves content. Hopefully you enjoy. Like I say, we're doing this for two reasons. First of all, it is our 200th. It's our fourth live podcast. It's our 200th episode. I guess if you'd listened to the first one, it was absolutely terrible. But look, we've got a little bit better, I guess. Some might say not. Some might say a lot worse. But you stick with us. And if you've been there from the start, fair play. If you've just picked it recently, great. What I would say is, and Tim would agree with this, and Joe would agree with this, the Wolves Poddy family are different from everybody else. You guys get it. You've been there. You know that we can kind of like let our hair down, have a bit of fun, kind of get our personalities out. So we really enjoy doing this. Tim enjoys doing the Molyneux View every week. It's his favourite bit. We enjoy doing the Wolves Poddy. It's my favourite bit. So thank you. And hopefully we'll keep you entertained for the next 2 hours. The second reason why we are doing this, of course, it's the most important reason of all. We're doing this for two very special charities. We're trying to raise some money for two great charities tonight. Breast Cancer Now and the Wolves Foundation Feed Our Pack. Two amazing charities. This is how it works. It's completely free. This is completely free to view. We're not asking for anything. It's not a ticketed event. But what we do say is before, and I know some of you have, which has been fantastic, during or afterwards, if you have enjoyed it, we've been tweeting links out all week. I'll retweet some of them as well. There's a Just Giving page for Breast Cancer Now. If you are enjoying what you've watched or what you've listened to, then please donate. It doesn't matter how much it is. We really appreciate every single penny. So that's fantastic. That will be straight to Breast Cancer Now. And I announced earlier on for Wolves Foundation at 12 o'clock today, there was a special silent 24-hour auction that is live and running. We've got some amazing prizes you can get. Remember, no fans this year, a Wolves signed shirt, 2021 shirt. So people can't get it because there's been no fans this year. That's available in a silent auction. A Wolves signed ball is available on this signed auction. There is the opportunity to come to a Wolves press conference with me and Joe at Compton Park next season, behind the scenes. Money can't buy experience. And there is also some Wolves training kit to see that's been worn by the players that could be coming straight to your doorstep. You could be wearing Pedro Neto, Adama Traore, Max Kilman, Rui Patricio, you don't know. So look, there's some great auction items. Bidding closes at 12 o'clock tomorrow. It's all on the site, the details. Email me with your bids. However, for you people watching, because you're very, very special, we've got 3 live auction items that we'll be doing throughout the show tonight. These are incredible. So we've saved one of the very best just for you guys watching. So make sure that you are online for the next 2 hours or so. Okay. Before we bring out our guest, I'd like to also welcome our fantastic new sponsors. They're sponsoring the Wolves podcast tonight live. They're also going to be sponsoring for the rest of the season, and that is Adoption at Heart. We really delighted to get them on board, and you'll be hearing a lot more about them later on in the poddy. So 2 hours. First half is going to be about an hour, like the live podcast. We're going to have a 15-minute break, and then the second half will be about 45 minutes, give or take 5 minutes, and we'll see if you're enjoying it or not. You can watch this live on the Express and Star site. You can watch it live on the Wolves YouTube channel. You can watch it live on the Express and Star Wolves Facebook page. You can also watch it live on the Wolves Poddy Twitter page. So look, you've got no excuses, have you? And if you're missing it, the reruns are there. Or if you want to watch it again, which I know plenty of you won't want to. So, right, that's about it. Chat is down the right-hand side. That'll be where you want to bid for items later on. It would also be where we're going to answer questions to all you peeps. So make sure second half we're going to be answering all the questions coming down that right hand side. So get yours in. We'll also have maybe the return of some old school favourites. We shall see. Right. Without further ado, let me bring out my first guest. My Wolves Poddy current co-host of about 60 shows, to be fair to him. He's a good lad. He's a good lad. He's the only person I know who looks 20 and 50 at exactly the same time. Some say he's the love child of Pedro Neto and a werewolf. He is the current, reigning, defending, undisputed Express and Star Wolves correspondent. Please give a warm welcome to Mr. Joe Edwards.
Hey! What an introduction.
What an introduction. I say an introduction. I say you're undisputed Wolves correspondent. There's only one of you now, mate. So it's not really something to feel pretty proud about. You know what I mean? So
I'll take it.
You're the best one of one. How's it going, pal? You good?
I'm all right, yeah. I'm excited. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad it's all going smoothly so far, touch wood. But yeah, it's exciting. I mean, as you say, it would have been nice to do this live. The last one, well, not the last one because you did one with Tim, didn't you? But was at the pavilion, that is like a stone's throw from where I live. So that would have been.
Don't tell them the address. Don't be tweeting that address, mate.
No, but that would have been lovely for a drunken walk home because it wouldn't have been very long to go at all. So yeah, no, I'm just excited and let's get cracking.
Yeah, it's great to have you on board, mate. What's your drink of choice now? I've gone for a cheeky margarita. To be fair, skinny spicy margarita. So I've gone kind of like a bit of lime, fresh lime juice, of course tequila. Gone for the Rocks tequila, which is actually delicious, by the way, and some chili flakes and salt around the rim because we all love a good rim.
Are you sponsored by Rocks Tequila? You keep going on about them.
Mate, it's fantastic. You know, me and Dwayne Johnson were like that. You know that. You might be watching. You never know. Okay. If he is, the bidding could get pretty crazy later on for some of the amazing auction items. So, you know, he might have donated an auction item. We shall see. What are you on, mate?
Well, I've brought out the big gun.
Go on. I'm excited. I'm excited about this. Please get drunk. Please get drunk tonight.
I'm getting drunk on 7-Up Free cherry flavour. Come on. Extravagant pop. I got about 8 of these from Asda yesterday. But just for you, Nathan, just for you. Yes. I do have a separate drink here. I do have a beer, which is a Desperados. There we go.
Why don't you come to your senses?
So posh pop and beer. So it's the best of both worlds.
Mate, to be fair to you, you've got a free house tonight as well. The missus is out, the cat's out, so you're ready to play.
She just popped out, yeah. So I've got that living room to play with. Lovely.
Happy days, mate. A free room, mate, and the internet going. Happy days. Right, shall we get special guest number 2 out? Shall we get him out? Number two. Okay. Tell you what, everyone. We've been locked in negotiations for weeks to get this guy's release. The appearance fee is staggering. You don't want to see the amount of zeros it has been. We've broken the bank. We've emptied the Express and Star coffers. But you know why he's worth it? You know why, Joe? Because he's still the same guy.
Yeah.
I've done 140 episodes with this guy. He's great banter. He's humble. He's loyal. He's a man of the people. And the thing is, he's not changed one bit. Gone to the big time. He's not changed one bit. It's not got to his head. Not gone to his head one iota. So for me, it's a pleasure to welcome my old partner, the one and only, Mr. Tim Spiers.
All right. What? Is that an effect or a real?
Sorry, I just got a phone call. Hang on a sec. Jackie, you're right, babes. No, sorry. No, I can't right now. I've got to do something. I know it's really annoying. Just got to do something. All right. Ciao. Right, what's this? Daily Express, is it? Daily Express? Agent was like Daily Express, Daily Star, something like that.
Chow, 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 chow.
What's up?
What's absolutely astonishing?
Anyone want a Manscaped trimmer, by the way? Lawnmower 3.0.
You use that as well tonight,
grooming.
I mean, do you want to get any more plugs on? I mean, we're only
Athletic mug. Anyone want one? Athletic water bottle. Anyone? Sorry, what is this again?
You're an absolute. I stood outside the athletic headquarters with a free Britney T-shirt on in the night, in the day, in the cold, to try and get your release. And this is what you've become. This is the big time Charlie that you are now. You disgust me. Absolutely.
Hi, Nathan.
Me.
Hello,
Tim.
Hey.
Hello.
How's it going? I was thinking about this. I was thinking about this the other day. Are you going to take those glasses off? Or are you going to wear them the whole time? By the way,
I'm going to leave them on for a little bit.
Okay. Because to be fair, it was 24 quid in Amazon. This stuff, so you know what I mean. Yeah. Got to get a little bit of usage out of them. Have we done a podcast together, all us three, before?
I don't think we have. I think I might have had a short cameo on one, but not properly the three of us. I don't think so.
Unbelievable. Well, you know, if you want to see all of us three, you know, to celebrate it, then please just give a little bit of money to the Just Giving page. That's what we're here for tonight. We're to raise a little bit of money for two great charities.
I thought we were doing a reenactment of the first episode. Wasn't that the whole point?
We'll go to 20 minutes of Wolves and then West Brom.
Is that still available online? Is it?
I think it is, but it's been banned. I think we've had 3 listens to that. It was terrible, mate. Absolutely awful.
You can go all the way back on SoundCloud. Not that you'd want to, but you can.
It's my piss bottle, just in case.
Oh, people will remember that. People remember that episode. Joe, I was thinking about this the other day. You know, you just come back from a week off, birthday and anniversary, first anniversary, mate. We were there for your wedding. Well, we got an invite to the evening do, but mate, what's it been like? First year marriage?
Crazy, Flower Boy. It's weird because it's obviously been maybe the longest year ever, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like a year that I've been married, but I have been. You were there on the night. You actually bought me a drink, I think, or one or two.
When did you get? What age were you when you got married?
I would have been just turned 23, because I'm 24.
Nice. Nice. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
At 23, my main interaction with a woman was buying the Daily Sport. Going into the petrol station, we've all done it. You get the Daily Sport, and then you're nervous. So you're going and you're getting there. So you buy the Telegraph, you buy the Independent, you buy the Daily Mail, and you kind of sandwich it in between. And you get to the counter, no eye contact like that. You put it down. You're like chewing. You've got no chewing gum in your mouth. We've all been there. You buy 2 Hubba Bubbas as well. You're looking quickly. There's a topic on there all of a sudden. Some Haribos. You spent 25 quid for a 35p paper. That's pretty much the female interaction I was getting at 23. You're married, mate. Married
with a cat.
Married with a cat, mate.
You can't get married too young. You want to be like me, 35, single. Look at this. Come on.
Look at that. You just want to be like that. Look at that. What you drinking tonight, Spiers?
So I hate to. I'm going to shock you here, but I'm not really drinking red wine. Don't you dare
say you've gone soft.
I'm not really drinking red wine, because I get terrible hangovers these days. I can't cope with it. So I'm going for the hard vodka instead because.
Oh yes.
I did a bit of googling, and apparently the hangover's not that bad on a vodka. So. We'll see what happens tomorrow.
Right, well, let's all cheers then, boys. Let's cheers to a good podcast. Cheers to everyone who's on as well. Thank you very much. Hopefully there's plenty of you on. Let's have a look. That's good. That is good, baby. Right, shall we go on with some Wolves stuff, everyone? Seeing as we're 20 minutes in, or 18 minutes in. Let's get on with some Wolves stuff. Some Wolverhampton Wanderers. That's what we're here for tonight. Delighted to have both of you on. Really, really pleased to have both of you on. So let's go straight into it. It's been an interesting season. It's not been.
I'm surprised you didn't delete the tweet. Actually, putting this pod out. Knowing your history of deleting tweets this season, you deleted more than you leave on there, man. Bloody hell.
Well, I've got
carry on. Sorry, I'm so sorry. I know you hate it when I interrupt. I know you hate it, so I'm going to try.
There's a lot.
Really
I've got a strict running time here, Spiers. I can't have your funny quips getting in there.
Mate, I've seen the script, mate. There's no running order at all. Dear me.
Wow, I've done more research for this than I've done for the last 199 episodes.
Come on, then, get on with it. Come on.
It's been an interesting season so far. Look, we're 75% through the season. It's grade card time. You've gone home. It's half term. It's not been great. There's been a lot of factors, a lot of determining factors. The short rest that they've had, injuries, the signings that they've made, where they are in the table. What would you give now as a grade for Wolverhampton Wanderers with where they are this season at this moment in time? Go with Mr. Joe Edward first, please.
C plus, maybe. Is that how grades work these days? Is it numbers? Is it letters? I'd probably a C plus. About passable, erring on the side of half decent. These last few weeks have improved the mood, haven't they? I mean, at least they've started picking up results. They got away from the possibility, really, of being sucked into it at the wrong end. I still don't think they've really got enough to.
Careful there.
I still don't think they're going to be made, in major contention for kind of, 8 for stuff. I think that's a bit of a stretch too far. But if they can get top half, considering where they were and the injuries they've had and the disruption over the course of the season, you'd kind of take that and move on to next and out for better things, I think.
C plus, Joe. Tim?
I guess if you've got to sort of compare it to the last two seasons, really, and I guess you'd probably say like an A minus for the last two seasons, really. I don't think anyone expected them to finish better than 7th when they first came up, and then that was sort of above everyone's expectations. So then to do it again last season, which feels like such a long time ago, whilst reaching Europa League quarterfinals, arguably an even bigger achievement. So I think you'd probably say A minus for both of those. So looking at where they were to where they are, I'd probably say like a C minus maybe, like down a couple of grades. But there's so many kind of factors in that. I know you guys have been discussing it all season, as have myself, and factors out of their control would be the fatigue that they've suffered, the short break last season. The poor recruitment, as much as recruitment is in your control, they didn't do a great job last summer, and also the formation change as well. As in formation change was in their control this season, and then the out of control being the physical and emotional stress that they've all kind of suffered this year, and then the Jimenez injury as well. So they're on like 35 points now from 28 games. That's roughly like just over a point a game, which would get them, I think, to roughly about 47, 48 points this season, the way that they're going. Now, the last two seasons, they've got 57 and 59 points. So at the moment, they're on track to finish about 10 points below where they have done the last couple of seasons. That would put them about 12th in the table. That's kind of where they're on track to be. But
is that a fair reflection?
I think it is, but looking at it in an optimistic sort of way, with Jimenez potentially back, although no one will be putting any pressure on him, and a good run of fixtures, as I found out the other day, Nathan, by studying the fixtures for the rest of the season. Sorry, this is something Judah told me about in like November, about this run that they've got coming up towards the end of the season. I've been taking the nick out of him ever since.
I've got a great run of fixtures after this Liverpool game, honestly. Stunning.
So they may nudge into the top half, and they've lost 1 of 7. So they're in decent form in terms of results. But if they finish 10 points down, which is what they're on track to do, I guess you would say, would Raul Jimenez's goals have made up that shortfall? And the answer, his history tells us that he scored kind of 13 and 17 goals in the last 2 seasons. Neto and Neves are top scorer on 5 this year. And the way that Neto and Traore have been creating chances, I think Jimenez would have got close to his 17 total of last season, or maybe even topped it. So with Jimenez in the team, would they be about where they were last season? I think they would, to be honest. So I think you've just, yes, they've made some mistakes this season. Yes, they've had things out of control, but I don't think they've turned into an average team. I just think they've had an average season. And
But
there are many
you could
reasons
say the way
that they'll be okay next year.
you could say that the way they're playing has not been anywhere near as entertaining. But again, you're looking at different factors in that, aren't you? Like the setup, like changing the formation because of the injuries, like there being no fans in this stadium. All those play a factor, don't they, Joe?
Yeah, they do. I just think, there has been mistakes made along the way. And I think the shortcomings do, I think it all kind of relates back to last summer, really. I think hopefully looking at it in a positive way, they can kind of learn from the mistakes that were made and not repeat those this summer. And it was young players, and then obviously Marcel's been injured for most of it. Semedo was kind of coming to it over these past few months, but not enough of an immediate return, especially losing two key players. So that is where a lot of the problems lie. Of course, Neto has been magnificent and, one of the best kind of performers in the Premier League this season, let alone just for Wolves. So there has been positives, but hopefully they can take good lessons from this season and really apply it to next. Because I think the summer and next season is when you kind of really start to see what the ambitions are and what their mettle is, really.
Oh, it's interesting you say good there, Joe, because that's in my next segment, because we're going into an old school segment of the good, the bad, and the ugly. So basically, that's
really
exactly
is that the best? Yeah, 18 months I've been away. This show doesn't change at all.
It's exactly the same.
Good, bad, and the ugly. How long did it take to think of that? Bloody hell, mate.
Just be very flipping careful, because otherwise I'll go hit, miss, or meh on you. All right.
You don't ask me to be careful. It's you that needs to be careful tonight, because I've got a video of you from Turin that I've been dying to unleash on the world. And tonight could be the night, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight could be no one else has seen this video. Just me and just Nathan Judah. He knows what's on it. I know what's on it. And he doesn't want anyone to see. Tonight could be the night.
That video will stay in the archives of your phone. And I'm really nervous that it is in your phone, because that was an interesting night in Turin. Was it pre-game? Was it the night before?
Pretty well. What, an hour before the game? Well, it was after the game. I've shown it to a few people, but I've not sent it to
what?
I think I've seen it. I think me.
There you go. Yeah. Turn it around the press box.
I think me and James Fielden saw it when we were in Barcelona. I think for Espanyol.
I'm sorry. Don't tell him that. I'm sorry, Judah. I'm sorry.
I think you were there when. I think it was but the public might see.
There's no way. I mean, I'll probably be out of a job, to be fair, if that gets released. So, probably best that we all quiet. People think we're on a jolly when we go out on these trips. We've got press conferences, we've got work. We're in bed for 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock, and that's game over. It's a good night's sleep.
Not only have I never seen you like that, I've never seen another human being like that.
Wow!
I haven't. Genuinely haven't. It was quite incredible. A great night, though. Absolutely brilliant night. Oh.
Was it? Right, the good, the bad, and the ugly this season. Good God, these segments are going to be a really struggle, aren't they? We're only on number 2 with 10 this tonight. I'm sweating already. Right, the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good this season. Who's been good? Who's been bad? And what's been ugly? Joe, we'll start off with you. The good. Give me a good player or something that's happened that's been good this year.
I'll go for the obvious one, I guess, which is Neto. And we all saw the potential that he had last season, and he kind of broke through a bit quicker than everybody expected, considering he was a signing that was kind of made out of nowhere. Nobody had ever really heard of him. But this season, he has been phenomenal, and that's not to say that he's not got improvement to make still, because he has, and he's still a very young player. But he's generally one of the best young players that the Premier League has to offer, and he should seriously be in the conversation for the young player of the season. I think he'll inevitably probably go to Foden, or Saka might be in with a shout as well. But Neto is right up there, glides past players, and he gained not just a yard of pace, but probably about 5 yards. He's absolutely lightning quick. If I was to put him in a foot race with Adama Traore, I don't think he'd be far off, to be honest. He's that quick these days, and his acceleration and the way he dribbles so quickly with the ball is fantastic. He comes up against the fullback, he's going to beat him 9 times out of 10. So Neto has been, the real runaway player of the season for Wolves. I don't think anybody's been really close to his level, and not just his level in 1 or 2 games. His level in, 8 to 9 times out of 10. To be honest, he's been consistent and he's been class, and it's been a pleasure to watch him. And just hope that it can carry on for a couple more years. Really, I think that's the slight worry amongst fans. But he's a special talent.
He certainly is, Joe. Before we get on, there's quite a few people asking for vids for Tim Spiers to unleash videos of this. Matt, Dominic, Paul, Matthew, Hayden, play the vid, Spiers. Spiers, what are you doing? Get it on board. He will not be playing any kind of video. Anil as well.
Sound only?
No. Anil Kumar, can you run us through your nighttime beauty routine? If you do it live, I will donate £50 to the charity. Anil, of course, for that incredible offer, yes, I will do. First of all, you get in the shower. You have a beautiful, not hot shower because that affects the skin, but you have a lukewarm shower, Anil. You then use some Kiehl's Blue Herbal Cleanser. You get it in. You put it all over your face, all over your throat. You get out. You don't towel dry. You have to dab it very carefully because you don't want to spoil the skin. Remember, 40 years old, guys. 40 years old. You've got to have a few little cheeky bits, a few little cheats. You then go to the Kiehl's face wash, the Kiehl's face cleanser. You put a little bit of lukewarm water on. You then splash it. You splash it all over. You look very white. It's all white all over your face, which is absolutely fine. And then you slowly rinse it off. You dab yourself again. Then there's some midnight oil, a special midnight Kiehl's oil, a blue bottle. You take a few of those bits of oil. You rub it in. It's all lavender. It smells great. All over your face. It's just nice and glazed. Absolutely. It looks fantastic. Leave that on throughout the night. And then you've got a little bit of special eye foundation and to stop the wrinkles, and you rub that in as well. Then you go to bed, you put your earplugs in, you have your melatonin, you've got your silk pillow because you don't want a normal pillow because that can affect the skin quality, and you go to sleep. Happy days with your wife and your 2 dogs in the bed. It's a win-win.
When do you trim your nether regions? And do you have any issues with that at all? Do you need any help? Do you need any new equipment?
Well, I mean, look, if you want to flog this manscaping tool, and that's absolutely fine, mate. I tell you what, I mean, if you've used it, and I'm sure you get 2 or 3 or 4 special freebies. I mean, you don't want to nick yourself down there, pal. Can you imagine agony?
I should just stress, I don't read those out because I need to or I need the product myself. I'm quite happy with my arrangements.
with your hedge.
Oh dear. Although in lockdown, there's no point, is there really?
No.
It's like Epping Forest, to be honest.
This is 7:30 at night. We're not past watershed light.
I would highly recommend.
This is going down quickly. How much vodka have you had already, man?
The Lawnmower 3.0. Very good. Very good. Right, podcast.
Oh, God. I don't think we're going to get done through this tonight, honestly. A little bit of cologne when you nick it. Agony. Right, talking about the nether regions. The bad, Tim, the bad. So the good is Pedro Neto. What's the bad?
Yeah, there's no other good, is there? There's no other good, and Joe summed it up brilliantly. I'd give shout outs to Cody and Neves probably as like the spine of the team, just because they haven't kind of set the world alight individually, but I think they've been carrying other players half the time. You know, the defense, and then the issues with Moutinho in midfield. They've been pretty good. But as far as bad, I mean, how long have you got really? I mean, Moutinho's got to be an option because he's just been so far down. What we know he can do, and it's quite sad really to see such a great player struggling in games. You know, when he's playing these like 5-10 yard passes, just straight out of play. And it's under no pressure. I've seen it quite a few times this season, including a couple of times at Villa last weekend. So Moutinho would be one, but I think in general it would have to be the strikers since Jimenez left. You'd put elements of Willian Jose and Fabio Silva together to make a bad striker in terms of Jose's awareness in the box, which is just non-existent because balls come in the box and he doesn't react. And Silva, who's the opposite, he sees the balls, he goes for them, but he misses pretty much every chance. So the fact they've scored 1 goal from open play since Jimenez got injured between them is embarrassing, really. So it's 3.5 months now since Jimenez suffered his horrific injury. So, one goal from a striker in open play since then is just unacceptable. And the recruitment team have got to take the blame for that. They went out, spent big money on Silva. They spent a lot of time in January looking for their striker to come in. So, and neither of them have lived up to expectations. I don't think we've seen anywhere near the best of Willian Jose, and hopefully he can do it in the next couple of months, because otherwise there's no chance of him joining permanently.
No, zero chance. I would say for the good as well. I've got Rui Patricio down, who I think's come on leaps and bounds. He had a couple of dodgy games, I think, where some people were questioning him.
Otherwise, he's done well, yeah.
But I think he's done really, really well. And look, he's a solid, he's an absolute model professional, and I think that he's going to be crucial if Wolves are going to do things in the next 2 or 3 seasons. That he is 100% still at Wolves, top keeper, and probably doesn't get mentioned in the best keepers in the league. But you look at some of them and some of the mistakes they make, he's definitely right up there for me. The ugly. Anyone who wants to go with ugly?
Marcel, I guess, and his injuries, and it's the fact that you do look at his injury record actually, and Wolves, I guess, kind of knew what they were getting into. When you're looking at these online, I guess you take them with a pinch of salt. But if you look at his injury record going back about 5 or 6 years, it's all thigh, muscle, adductor, groin. And he's had 2 thigh surgeries within the space of a month. These past couple of months. Feel sorry for him in a sense, really, because whenever he has played, he's looked quite good and he's looked very solid. And that, especially when things weren't going great at the back, you did wonder whether he could do a job on the left of the three as a more central defender. I know he's not the biggest, but he played there for Lyon. You thought, well, he could be a decent option, but because of injuries and consistent injuries, not just 1 or 2, it's been, he's missed more games than he's played. And that's been an unfortunate one, but I suspect he'll still be at the club come, beyond the summer, because I don't think anybody be chomping at the bit to take him off Wolves' hands, and he's contracted for another year. So hopefully those ease up, but yeah, it's not gone the way he would have liked at all.
Anyone else for ugly, Tim?
The whole defence, really, certainly in terms of dealing with crosses, has just been a joke on the whole. More than half their goals conceded from crosses and set pieces. They've gone from having like the 4th and 5th best defence in the last 2 seasons to having the 6th worst at the moment.
Why have you just sent me that picture?
Because I just wanted to tease you. Took
God.
Took a little screenshot of the video and sent it to Judah, just so he knows I put it right up my finger.
God. Oh, no, I've just seen the other flip-flop. Carry on.
I would say probably a combination of Semedo and Ait-Nouri defensively, just been very, very weak. That was sort of the biggest problem with 4-2-3-1. That you've got Cody and Bolly in the middle. I think it's got the makings of a decent centre half partnership, but with nothing either side. And Semedo and Ait-Nouri they're letting their opposition winger get past them, letting crosses come in. It was just a deluge, really. So
you've got 19-year-old Ryan Ait-Nouri, or 20-year-old, or whoever he is now. I mean, he's going to make mistakes. It's going to happen. He's learning his trade in the Premier League. Very, very difficult.
He's third choice, though, isn't he? He's behind Johnny and Marcel, but both of them are injured. So that's just the way it went.
Absolutely. And he's had a couple of decent games. I thought he was very good at Manchester United when it was him and Hoover down the side. And you're going to get that with a young kid. Semedo, though, I mean, he's coming with a big reputation from a big club for big money. Can you give him time to settle in? Has his performances been, for me, have been very underwhelming, and I think he does get better in games, but then he gets lost. He goes past plays, and then another game he doesn't have the confidence to attack players, especially against Aston Villa. You were desperate for him to go past and go on like Doc used to do, and it was there for him to put that pressure on. And then at the other end, when you think he's having an okay game, there's one catastrophic error that comes on, which sometimes lead to a goal conceded.
I think a factor with all of the new signings, none of them have set the world alight this season, and I guess you've got to wonder if the pandemic's playing a part in that, because they've not gone through the same pre-season routines as they'd normally put out. They can't socialise with their new teammates. Some of them haven't brought their family over. They can't go and explore. They can't pop down to London like Jota and Neves would always used to do. You can see all over their Instagram popping down to London in the week. They can't do any of that, and it's probably going to have an effect on their performances. But yeah, Semedo, I mean, I agree what you said with Ait-Nouri, and I think he's he's the most likely one that they'll sign out of the 3 loanees that they've got, purely on his potential, which I think he's shown quite a bit of this season. But Semedo, he's come from Barcelona. He's ready-made. He's Portuguese international, and he's making the same number of mistakes defensively. So I don't think he's contributed enough going forward to balance out the weaknesses he's got defensively. I think he's got 1 assist, no goals, doesn't create many chances. His dribbling is excellent. His tackling is excellent, but he's got a rick in him. He's got a rick in him every week. However, the money they've spent on him, unless they're going to flog him, then he's got to play.
You're not getting that money back though, are you? Well, I mean, I know Mendes can work wonders in the transfer market, but at the same time, you move players. But 60 million quid, when you talk about players and signing and we'll go on to this in a little bit, but you talk about signing maybe an absolute superstar, a ready-made superstar for 40, 50 million quid at the back, and you've got 60 million quid invested in Fabio Silva and Nelson Semedo. Question marks have got to be asked at this stage.
Yeah, definitely. Just a bit on the ugly as well. It pains me to say it a little bit, but I think it's been a bad season for Leander Dendoncker as well. He's not really found his footing either in midfield or defence, really. He was given quite a creative licence for quite a while to try and score goals, and kind of came close and was perhaps a little bit unlucky at times, but didn't really justify having that creative license. And then he's gone to the back, and he does fill in and does do a job, but I don't think he's really, showing himself up to be, a player of massive quality this season. I don't think he's done himself justice. I think he'll be looking at himself and probably thinking he can do a better job next season. He'll hope to have a settled spot in midfield probably, but he's got to justify that spot, and his performances have been a bit up and down, a bit inconsistent.
Good stuff, boys. Let's move on to the next. By the way, thank you to everyone who's on there. I'm just going to say there's over 350 people on live as we speak, which is absolutely fantastic. Hi, everyone. Latest charity page, like I say, we've all tweeted the page. If you can donate during this podcast, we'd love you to do it. We are on £1,205 for breast cancer now at this moment in time. 1,205 quid. So that's awesome. Don't expect you to do it if you're watching this, but at half time when you've got that break and afterwards, please get on those links and just give us a little bit.
Right, 200 each for these, so that's another 200 in the bank there. I'm going to donate these rings.
We're going to start making it rain with the wands, baby.
You take that crown to the pawn shop, you'll get loads.
To the what shop? Oh, sorry, yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah.
It's been a long lockdown for you, Spiers. Jesus. I don't want to see the history that you had to delete tonight on that laptop before you get around. Give it a good old clean. Right.
Careful, mate. Careful.
You give it. You be careful. Shall we go for an old school little bit of a segment? As long as you've done your research. Tim?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it. Oh, sorry. Hang on. I just clicked something. Hang on. There we go. Sorry. It's back now. Sorry. Technical problems here, mate. Technical problems. What were you saying?
Oh, no.
I think my Wi-Fi, actually. Wi-Fi's not great.
A good-looking lad, then. Good-looking lad. I was just big bones, my mum said. Just big bones.
Was that in your chicken chow mein to the cinema days, was it?
That was back in that was beef chow mein and chicken fried rice at Ice Age 2, missing a journalism seminar because I'd already gone to the lecture. But it was fine because I had food as my friend.
Oh, bless you. But look at you now. Look at you now.
Oh, good God. Oh, why? I knew this was going to be an issue, inviting you on the podcast, hearing me. Right. Tim Spiers, for all time's sake, where are we massive in? Tim Spiers, where are we massive in? Tim Spiers, where are we massive in this week?
Well, you gleefully gave me the passwords to your account, which was, if you want to see what I've done with that, to see where you've been listened to.
The password hasn't changed since you were on.
That's why. It's the same one I set about 5 years ago. So yeah, really great to see, just how much the podcast has grown in the 18 months I've been away, and all the new places that you guys are now being listened to. It's just really heartening for me to see that, despite my departure, you guys have really grown and been listening to in some real far-flung places now. such as Stourbridge,
Wow.
Yes.
and Cannock as well, and Dudley. So no,
Wow.
Massive.
I'm joking, of course. You've spread your nest far and wide. The 12th most listened to town, or you listened to the 12th most in this town, was Rhyl in Wales.
Wow.
Which, real glamour town. I think you should do the next live podcast there, to be honest. Known, of course, for its real clock tower, a major tourist attraction. And their most famous citizen, of course, is Lisa Scott-Lee from Steps.
Steps, yeah.
Judas probably had round for a New Year's Eve party.
Actually, I'll give you an interesting thing about Steps. Alana might be going on a tour with them soon.
Of course she is.
There you go.
There we go.
Maybe.
How are the Little Mix? I've heard all sorts of things. One of them's left. All sorts of going on.
Jesse's gone, mate. Jesse's gone. But three of them are there and still flying that flag, mate. Top draw.
Couldn't you have got her on tonight, Jesse? Bit of Wolves chat.
Fortunately not, mate. Fortunately not. I mean, you thought you were expensive, dearie me. So 12 real. What else have we got?
So you're big in Iran this week. One listen in Iran. I'd absolutely love to know who that person is. Just sat in Iran.
Might be watching. If you're watching here, if you're watching live, then let us know.
To the E&S Wolves podcast.
Andranik Taimourian. Remember him? Iranian who played in the Prem for Bolton and Fulham, I believe. Maybe it's him.
Probably is, isn't it?
Andranik. There we go. Taimourian. What a midfielder.
Probably is. I think we've cracked that one. You're also massive in St. Lucia this week. One solitary listen, who I'm presuming is Chris Rock, still on holiday,
Yes.
and waiting to listen to his apology for you to telling him to shut up. I just find remarkable. Oh dear. Did you talk about that on the podcast, or is that?
Yeah, we did talk about that on
we
the
did.
podcast, mate.
Yes.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
Unbelievable.
Hey, if people are making noise when I'm trying to watch the sunset, then they're going to get told. I don't care who they are.
Did you know who he was when you told him to shut
No,
up?
no idea. We had no idea who was next door. Of course, we can't hear or see anybody. But if you're making noise, you're making noise. I just want to take it in. I want to do my yoga. I want to just drink in the beautiful sea air. And if people are making a noise and getting drunk while I'm trying to do that, then they're going to get told.
Yeah, but not if you knew who he was. In which case, you'd be down there asking for a retweet. I know what you're like. Hey, just some more followers for me, Chris. Remember you added Justin Bieber and Britney Spears as well. You used to know
Wow!
how desperate he was. Desperate to get to 10,000 followers. He finally got.
You're embarrassing yourself. It's incredible.
Oh my
Absolutely
God.
incredible. At least I don't act plus this season. At more players.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Dear.
Anyway, yeah, there you go. That's where you're massive in, lads.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Right, it's time for the first auction item of the night. So, people who are on the comment screen, just for now, and I know you're putting great comments in there. We appreciate it. We'll get through to a lot of them later on. But can you just make sure you put your bids in there now? Okay, so I'm gonna say what the auction item is, and if you want to bid on it, then just put yes. Put yes or me or show a hand or whatever, and we'll go further and further up. But please, don't bid if you're not going to bid on the item. There's a little bit of trust here because obviously we're live. So here we go. This is a bid to come on to a future Wolves podcast as a special guest. So as a special guest, join me and join Joe. Come in and we'll have you on the podcast live for the whole of the world to listen to. So please can we start bidding at £25? £25 to come on the podcast, a future podcast, as a special guest. Can I see anyone at £25? Anyone at all? 25 quid.
Would this be in person when we can do it in person, or
In person or whatever they want to do? So would anyone like to come on the podcast?
Come on,
Anyone
folks. You
like
can
to come on
listen to in
virtual
real.
or
Come on.
digital?
People in real will listen to this.
you can look at Nathan's makeup on his face in close detail. You can be in viewing angle of all the foundation on his face with his YSL marker pen.
There's a few layers there, dear me.
Paul Mansell, £25. Thank you very much. Pocket drop. Okay, I tell you what. Anyone else? So can I get 35? Anyone 35? £35. So we've got Paul's winning at 25. Anyone 35? Yes, James Marnie, 35.
James
Good
Marnie.
man. £40. Anyone for 40? Anyone for 40? James is winning at 35. Anyone for 40? Yes, Thomas Duffy, Duffman.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
Duffman. Wolf Whistle podcast, £50. Okay, let's go 70. Anyone for £70? Anyone £70? We've got Wolf Whistle leading the way at the moment with £50. Have we got £70 to come on the podcast?
Justin Rowe's done a quid for what it's worth.
Oh, great. Thank you very much, Justin. We've still got it. We've got Wolf Whistle leading for 50. Have we got anyone for 70? Going once. Anyone for 70? Going twice. Anyone for 70? Going, yes, Paul Mansell, £70, right in there. Drama. Can we have anyone else? Anyone going to outbid it? We've got Paul Mansell for £70. Anyone want to bid any higher than that? Going once to Paul for 70. Going twice for a Wolves podcast appearance for 70. Gone to Paul Mansell. Paul Mansell, well done. £70. Congratulations. £70, please. Paul, just get in touch with me, mate, through Twitter, and we'll sort that out. But that's great. Paul Mansell, thank you very much. Oh, Duffman, you just missed out, man. You just missed out. It just gone. £70. Thank you very much, Paul. There's two special items in the next half, including a very special piece of Nuno memorabilia.
I thought you could just leave it at piece of Nuno.
Yeah, a piece of Nuno.
Nuno memorabilia. Want very, very excited for that. Right, okay.
You think yourself as a bit of a David Dickinson. I mean, you've got the fake tan. You've dyed your hair. You're very similar people.
I'll take it, mate. I'll take it. 100%. A little bit of bargain hunt. Right, let's go back onto Wolves, shall we? Position strengthening in the summer. Look, where do Wolves need to strengthen? It's obvious they need to strengthen. This is a massive summer for Wolverhampton Wanderers Football Club. You feel with the players they've got at the moment, with the talent they've got at their disposal, gents. First of all, they've got to keep some of their key players, but also they've got to invest, don't they? And they've got to, with fans back and with the expectation is going to be huge next season, they need to improve in so many areas. Tim, do you want to go first? Where do they need to improve?
Probably down the. I mean, I seem to say it every year, really, but probably down the spine. I mean, you're looking. The two main priorities, and I don't know which is more than the other, but you're looking at a centre half and a centre midfielder have just got to come in, and then they need to decide what formation they're going to play, I guess, because if they're going to play a 4-2-3-1, then they'll need strength in depth because they haven't got any behind, certainly behind the forwards, behind Traore, Penance and Neto. There's no one else that screams out to me. We'll see what happens with Vitinha. So yeah, like I said, you go through the spine. I'll be very interested to see if they sign a striker. Jimenez played every single Premier League game of the last 2 seasons before he got this injury. If he was to play every single game next season, then they'd want Fabio Silva to be that backup, wouldn't they? And I think they've seen enough of him to know that he's worth kind of pursuing with. So do they want another striker as well on top of that? We know how they work. We know they don't buy players unless they have to. It's a very kind of small squad. So
isn't that a gamble? Isn't that a gamble knowing we don't know how Raul's going to be when he comes back?
Massive gamble. It's the gamble they played for the last 3 years, and it's not been a problem. We say week after week on the podcast, what happens if Matt Doherty gets injured? They never had any right back before Oscar Burr sort of emerged at all. Same with Connor Cody. So they've always treaded that fine line, and it's never been a massive issue. But this season it has. So yeah, they need to decide what formation they're going to play. If it's going to be 4 at the back, they've got to bring in a top class centre half. If they're playing 3 at the back, I think it's Cody and Bolly with one other, and they've still got to bring one in. But the key is if Bolly is at his best, that helps a lot. But they've got to bring a defender in. I've been saying it for years, to be honest. And they brought in Vallejo, and it didn't really work. Didn't bring in anyone last summer.
Didn't really work.
Exactly. So they looked at someone like Ruben Diaz. They had a good long look at him and were quoted 50 million, and they didn't like it. And then a year later, he goes to Man City for 65, and people say it's probably a bargain now.
Absolutely.
So they also need to look at their philosophy. Are they going to go in the market for first team ready players, or are they still going to look to sign young players to develop that most of us have never heard of when they come in? And it's worked well for them, but if they're going to break into the top 6, they might have to have a rethink.
But Joe, look, we all love Nuno. He's done a fantastic job. However, there have been certain question marks about Nuno this season, and you Nuno will probably be the first to admit that he's made some poor errors this year of judgment. Do you feel for him moving forward that Wolves need a good season next year, and that for that to happen, Nuno needs to get the players and the backing from the board and from Fosun?
Yeah, it's a massive window. I can't understate it, and it is massive. It's they've had what, it'll be 3 seasons in the Premier League, and it's kind of, you got to try and, I know the pandemic limits you, and finances may not be as free as they would have been, but you've got to spend big relative to the market, whether that's big fees like we've seen in summers past, then maybe not. But I think you've got to spend big in the context of what everybody else is doing. They need a centre back, they need a centre midfielder, and they need a centre forward still for me. Even with Jimenez coming back and Silva obviously developing, obviously they've brought in Jose, and I haven't really made much of him, to be honest, of what he's done so far. I think he's been a little bit static. I'm not sure that he really suits Wolves' system. I think he needs somebody playing just in behind him, like a Podence was in those first few games. He looked quite good in those first few games, but without him, I think he's really struggled. So they need through the spine of the team. They need that. They'll probably need a goalkeeper, because I'd imagine John Ruddy will probably want to go and play for the last few years of his career. And then it's that left wing back situation of whether you get Ryan Ait-Nouri in at a cut price, or whether you decide to do something else there. But the centre back, centre midfield, centre forward are the big key things for me. And I would like to see a domestic signing made. I would like to see them change tack and get somebody that at least there is a bit of background knowledge on. I know it has worked in the main, but I think there comes a point where you've got to try and sign a player from a rival, or from a team somewhere kind of near you or just below you in the league, to just try and make a bit of a statement, really. And fingers crossed that could happen this summer. Make a big play for an established Premier League player.
And I'm going to come and ask both of you about certain players that Wolves could potentially target and who would help them. But I'll put it to both of you, gents. For me, they've got to have more than just waiting on George Mendes. They've got to have more irons in the fire, to me, from the last couple of windows. And of course, we all know that Wolves have done very, very well out of Mendes. However, they saw the other side of things, I think, for the first time this season. So do they, or can they, have other areas where they can look at? Of course, we had Farewell before, looking and signing other players, but it seems to me like they're waiting for Mendes to make moves and to bring them players. And if he can't do that, then that's it. It's no good. So, Tim, what do you think of the situation? Do they need to have more diversity in the transfer market?
That's the bed that they've made. That's what's worked so well for them over 4 years. I don't see them ripping that up now after last summer's window. I just don't see that happening. I mean, I agree, maybe a bit more diversity and a bit more leaning on the excellent recruitment team that they've put together. It's easy to ignore, but they've got a lot of full-time staff, recruitment-wise and scout-wise, whose job it is to find players. But so often, when it comes to the crunch, and it comes to Nuno's decision on who they do bring in, it's Mendes that they side with. So perhaps there needs to be, they'll need to move away from that eventually, because there'll come a time when Mendes and Nuno either aren't around or have lost their touch or whatever. So Fosun need to plan for that. They can't rely on Mendes forever. They can't rely on Nuno forever. He'll leave at some point. So yes, that does need to happen. Do I think it will? No. And I think also you've got to remember, as much as he's kind of a divisive figure in the football world, George Mendes has done incredible things for Wolves and opened doors that they would never have got anywhere near. Jan Martino and Rui Patricio signing for a newly promoted Premier League team, Ruben Neves joining in the Championship, Jota joining the Championship, never, ever, ever happens without Mendes. So they're lucky to have him in his contacts book, but there is an over-reliance, I think, at times, yeah.
But when was the last time that Wolves had a good transfer window?
Oh, it's been a while. It's been a while since the first summer before the Premier League, in terms of success rate. But do you know what, though? I think we've been spoiled, and that's what we've got used to. If you look at most of the clubs, they're pretty hit, miss, or meh, as you'd love to say. But because Wolves' hit rate has been so good for so many years, that they have failed on a few. And they've got, like Joe says, it's such an important summer this summer if they really want to, because other teams are getting ahead of them now. Leicester look like miles ahead of them to me, whereas I think you'd say in the last year or two they've been pretty equal. So massive summer of increments.
They do, Tim, and I agree with that with Leicester. However, I do feel that Wolves are closer to Leicester than they are with the rest of the pack who are in and around them.
Yeah,
and you know, they've got some great players, but so have Wolves. And it's interesting recently when you've got James Maddison injured and you've got Harvey Barnes injured, who have been two of their most influential players in centre midfield, and all of a sudden Leicester look absolutely bang average. Jamie Vardy looks like a 35-year-old Jamie Vardy. You've got Tielemans trying to do everything he can in the middle, and they look very much like Wolves. And Wolves have had those players and those injuries all season. So I think that sometimes, you know, if you put that main squad back together again and you get everybody fit, they are closer to Leicester than they are perhaps the lower league teams in and around them at this moment in time. So like your Palaces and your Southamptons and whatnot.
I think it's just those key additions in certain areas, like I said, defence and midfield. Like I said earlier, Wolves haven't turned into an average team. They're just having an average season. In my opinion, people might disagree, but I just think they're having a bad season for a lot of circumstances. So it's massive for 2 or 3 additions this summer, but they don't need an overhaul. They don't need 6 or 7 signings to come in. It's just those key additions in key areas.
But Joe, if they do have these key additions into key areas and they do need 1 or 2 or 3 tweaks, how important is it that they keep what they've got already?
Yeah,
or do you think that they could get rid of 1 or 2 and still make the inroads that they want to do and push for European positions, like is the aim and the goal?
I don't think you can lose any more than 1 key player. I think you can perhaps get away with losing 1 to kind of really fund what you want to do. And we've alluded to it a few times. If you were asked the question, you've got to lose one of Neves, Neto, or Traore, then you'd probably pick Traore to kind of fund what else you want to do. And I think he's the one you could lose with the least effect. But that being said, he's as Nuno I think said in the week, he's a player that Wolves are waiting for to explode. Really, once he really kind of kicks it into the gear, he could be, on another level, really. But it's just waiting for that to happen, and it's a case of how long do you wait for that to happen, really. Usually a cut-off point, especially with his contract situation going on. So but yeah, in an ideal world you keep the group and build on top of it, because we saw last season when you lost 2 key players and the goals that they're providing in Doherty and Jota, then you just really kind of setting yourself up for a really difficult task, and replacing those players isn't an easy task at all.
Tell you what, that Pedro Gonçalves looks to play, doesn't he?
Yeah. That's what they need, isn't it? Goal scorer midfielder, top scorer in the Portuguese leagues. The next Bruno Fernandes. He's all right, isn't he?
He's not bad at all. Right, so I'm going to ask both of you. What kind of players do you think Wolves could aim for in the summer before we go to the break and people can get a top up and going to have a Jimmy Riddle, etc. So, what do you think? What do you think are the players that Wolves could really have a look at and think they are attainable? I'm going to start us off because I want to talk. I'm going to say that they want to. One of my favourites is, or 2 of my favourites. One's Ademola Lookman from Fulham. I think he's superb. I think he's exactly fits the bill. I know he plays on the left-hand side, but with Neto switching these days as well, and we don't know what's going to happen with Adama Traore. Of course, he hasn't signed that contract yet. But when you look at him, I think that he could be perfect. Of course, not a Fulham player at the moment with Leipzig, but at the same time, he could be one. I'm sure there'll be a lot of other people who are interested in him, but people remember him for that stupid penalty that he took. But actually, I think he scored 4 goals, 3 assists this term in a struggling Fulham side, and he's been influential with their upturn. And to be honest, they could stay up, Fulham. Brighton, Newcastle getting sucked into those 2 relegation places. So I think he's one. And also, you talk of midfield and you talk about João Moutinho potentially getting phased out. You'd expect him to probably get phased out next season. An Albion player, OK Yokuslu's done really, really well for Albion this season. He's come in on loan from Celta Vigo. I think in the last 5 games, they've only conceded 2. And he's very, very useful, honestly. Very good player. You don't know him? He is.
No,
he's
no, I do. No, sorry, carry on.
He's strong. He wins the ball very, very well. Gives you that protection, and I think he could be an ideal signing, which will allow someone like Ruben Neves to play a little bit further. Joe, who do you think who are your guys who you think that maybe Wolves could go for?
I was having a think, and one midfielder that I'm surprised has never really come into serious conversation is William Carvalho, Portuguese midfielder. He's one that gets tentatively linked each kind of summer, and you kind of hear his name in the Andre Silva mould. But Wolves need to do something in midfield to get more goals from it. And it's whether they go in the market for an attack-minded midfielder, i.e. a Gonçalves, that kind of player, or they're getting a more robust defensive-minded player that allows Neves to really kind of take the shackles off and be that attack-minded midfielder. We've seen it over the last few weeks, actually. He's scored 5 goals, and now 3 have been from the penalty spot. But 2, interestingly, have been in the penalty box, which is, an anomaly, really, with Neves. And that header at Newcastle was brilliant. So Carvalho has played with Neves for the national team. He's played with Martinho for the national team. Of course, played with Patricio Semedo. The list goes on. And he's not really done an amazing amount at Betis, but he's still got a good reputation. I think he's 28 years of age. I don't think he'd have to break the bank to get him. I'm just a little bit surprised that he's not a player that has really come into consideration before now. But if Wolves can't find that Gerrard, Lampard type because they don't grow on trees, then maybe you look at a conservative midfielder like him, like Enjoy was, a player that Wolves never really replaced. I know Enjoy's not the Messiah, but he did a good job in the Championship. If you can get an upgraded version of that, he could play a very effective role and maybe allow Neves to be that goal-scoring midfielder that he's got the potential to be.
Carvalho, Tim, who are your guys?
I mean, like a dream signing of someone who's in the. It's a shame West Ham are having such a good season because Souček would just be perfect. He's scored 8 goals. He wins loads in the air. He's a decent forward in central midfield, and he costs £20 million. It's unbelievable, really. He's got the energy and the physicality of Dendoncker, but he adds the goals on top of that, and that's why it's such a shame that Dendoncker hasn't kicked on because he's got the engine. We know that he's got the work rate. He can do the dirty work, but he can't score.
Have you written Dendoncker off then, have you? Or do you think that he can become that Souček? I mean, he's missed 5 big chances this season already. Well,
last season, he scored 4 goals from 20 attempts last season. And that was one of the highest sort of goal-to-shot ratios in the league, as you can imagine. Four goals from 20 is ridiculous. Obviously, he played a lot in defence last season, so he didn't have too many shots. And I expected him to kick on this season, and he hasn't. And I just wonder if Nuno might think, I can get the best out of him here. And we've seen him transform individual players in the past, like Cody, like Traore, and loads of them, so many, Doherty as well. I just wonder if he thinks this might be a bit of a project for him next season to get goals out of Dendoncker and save him spending 20, 30 million, maybe even more. I really like him. It's not happened for him this season. I'm not sure it will, but that's a decision for them to make. I mean, these kind of things are sort of futile, as you know, because Wolves end up finding players that often we just haven't heard of. Sort of Martinho and Traore.
Everyone's heard of them. They all say, "Oh yeah, good player. Always rated him."
But they tend to go down the younger route, and I wonder if they'll look at someone like Josh Da Silva at Brentford, who's having a really, really good season. A driving, left-footed midfielder would add a bit of balance with a left foot. He's got 7 goals and 4 assists this season. He's young. He's doing really well. Someone like him is probably, if they're going to go domestic, is what they kind of look at. I mean, for me, it'll never happen. But Emi Buendia would be amazing in that team. Wolves are too reliant on the flanks for me. If they had him in the 10, doing nothing but creating, which would never happen under Nuno, but he's got 11 assists this season, 10 goals. He's created 100 chances.
Wow.
I think it's phenomenal. He didn't do himself justice at all last year, and I think he'll do a really good job for somebody next season. I don't think it'll be Wolves because he doesn't seem like Nuno's top player, but I would love that. Him in the 10, and then Neto and Traore / Podence either side with Jimenez up front. What a front four that would be.
Yeah, just very quickly on that point. I think the Championship is definitely a market that they should be having a bit of a look at. A bit more of a look at. They only really signed
Cash,
one.
Watkins, they've done very well, haven't they? When they've
exactly. Come in. And even if you're looking to get a striker, I've written a little bit for tomorrow's paper, cheap plug, but Ivan Toney scored a lot of goals. I know he'd probably be a big fee, but it was a big fee for Watkins, and that's paid off for Villa. João Pedro looks a very good player at Watford, and Wolves like players with sell-on fees. If Norwich didn't go up by some miracle, then maybe Pukki would be worth a look. If you could get him at a decent price, he scores goals. And Lucas João's another one, which is interesting. 27, Portuguese. Scored 19 goals, I think, in the Championship this season. I mean, maybe not the sexiest signing, but if he's scoring goals in the Championship, and Nuno and everybody at Wolves always talks up how great the Championship was and what a competitive division it was and how it stood him in good stead for the Premier League, then, I think it's worth a look at the players that are doing well in that division, and because I think the two of them could really strengthen Wolves.
Before we go, boys, before we break off for 5 minutes, back four, back five next year, or do you think they'll be mixing and matching? Or back three, whatever you want to call it.
Both for me. They've got to. They can't just rely on one. They've got to have two. But yeah, I think they need to explore 4-2-3-1 for sure.
Yeah, I think kind of both. I just think they need, they need players regardless, and there's at times a bit too much focus on system. I think they've just got to play better regardless of the system, and just find a way of playing and creating more chances and just being a bit more expressive. So probably a mixture of the two.
Brilliant. We'll leave it there, gents. That becomes the end of the first half. Right. First of all, I'm just going to click and see how much we are on the donation. See if we've got any so far during what we've done. Wow. 1,004. Stop it. Get it back on the screen now. Get it up. Get it up. £1,475 we are at. Thank you so much. For anyone in the interval, please donate if you haven't already. We've got two brilliant auction items straight afterward. What we're going to do, because I know there's a slight delay on some of the comments, people putting their bids in. I'm going to say what the auction item is. We'll then start a segment, and then whoever's got the highest bid at the end of that will get the item. I think that's the fairest way to do it. So thank you very much for that. We are also going to be taking all your questions in the second half, and we've got the return of abuse of the week. I'm going to tweet out straight after this. Make sure you reply for your abuse of the week tweets for me, for Joe, for Tim, and also for Mr. Luke Hatfield, who we might see and who's doing the technical stuff tonight. We might see a little bit of a picture of him later when he might come and say hello. So for Luke, for Joe, for Tim, and for myself, look at the tweet that I'm going to send out in about the next 2 minutes, and please reply, and I'll be reading out the best or worst abuse of the week tweets. Right, let's go and get drinks. Let's go and get topped up. We'll see you in about 15 minutes. Don't go away. Boom! Boom!
Aldi beer.
Oh, yeah, baby. How's
Come
it going?
on. Yeah.
A little bit of Aldi beer. I like it. You're on it like a car bonnet. Spiers, are you still on the vodka, baby?
Sorry, you what?
Wow.
So
You are absolutely disgraceful.
I've not been drinking very much this year. I did dry Jan. I don't like drinking on my own. So,
you know, you're on your. We've got nearly 400 people online. You've got us three.
So I'm fine drinking tonight, but let's just see what happens, shall we?
Okay.
What you want me to ask, Nave? But so, what is that T-shirt? You've had a change of clothes. Is it Boyzone? Maybe Westlife. Backstreet Boys.
Thank you. Come on,
Yeah.
so everybody who knows. As long as you love me, can't be. I've been waiting to wear this for a long time in the live show. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to do it. So it's debuting today in the second half. I think it's not bad. I quite like it. Very good quality, by the way. Delicious.
Was that an Amazon as well? Was that an Amazon with Tim's crown as well?
It's about 40 quid. This is a proper
official, 2 for 1.
Tour. This is a proper official tour. Right. Okay. Here we go. Can I just say how much we've raised so far?
Yeah.
£1,610. 1,610.
That's unbelievable.
As we are going. So it's absolutely superb.
Amazing.
Breast Cancer Now. Thank you very, very much. What I'm going to do, because there was a little bit of delay on the auctions before, and I think the comments are about a minute out. So we're going to start a section or a couple of sections, and then people can give the amount, just bid an amount. And then when we come to the end of the section, we'll take the highest bid at that time.
Another Judah pick.
Can I just say, I
What's
think I
that
look
from?
pretty good there. You know, you've got a little bit of blonde low lights. You've got the Alice band in the hair. You've got a pinkish T-shirt. I thought I was the absolute shit. That was top draw.
Oh, he started swearing. Can you tell people where that was from?
That was a photo shoot I did for children's TV back in the day, and I think it was very nice. I've got ripped jeans. It was a model portfolio that I got done, and I thought that I was in good shape, to be honest. And I thought it was a good look. Are you saying that's not a good look?
Well, I mean, what happened to your children's TV career?
Well, back to you 2 minutes now, aren't I? So probably what happened. Would have been perfect. To be honest, though, I mean, look, we've got.
What did happen? I've seen comments in the comment section tonight about your Nickelodeon career. You've never really opened up as to what happened.
There's nothing
there.
to open up.
How famous did you get? Why did you leave? Did they bin you off for nicking all their free food? What happened?
We did a few pilot shows back in the day. We did a little bit of birthday announcements, and then we moved straight to Middlesbrough Football Club, and we didn't look back. To be honest, the one and only Middlesbrough Football Club. But
what about the footage? Hand on heart, I've never seen any footage.
There is a VHS footage in my house in Hull of about 4 or 5 VHS tapes that will never, ever, ever see the light of day. However, there is one person who might be able to shield a bit of light, who's just started doing some Wolves fan stuff as well, who might know, but we'll see.
Oh, okay.
Maybe they might come out once in a while, but definitely not. I think it'll probably come out before that video of me will come out from you, though.
We'll see. Alana might be able to help. She's helped in the past with certain.
She's hindered in the past. She's hindered in the past quite a lot.
I've been able to unearth. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Right. Shall we get to and the next auction item?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll save the best one till last. What I think is the best one till last. But this is pretty good. Does anyone like a bit of golf? We're not very good. However, we like to get around a little bit of a course. So what we're going to do, how would you like to join myself and Mr. Joe Edwards and Mr. Tim Spiers for a little bit of a round of golf? Wander around. Now, I don't want a professional applying, by the way. I want someone who's just as bad as us. I'm talking about handicaps 25 or 26. Or 27.
Even that's generous.
Nail Coat Hall. We've got it all sorted out. Come and join us for half a day. We'll get round the course. We'll have a little bit of crack. We'll talk a bit about Wolves. We'll have a drink in the bar afterwards. Happy days. So come and have a little bit of a laugh and a joke with us. So if you'd like to do that, I'm going to let you guys start the auction. Oh, it's been. I've had a couple of margaritas already.
Oh, God. He's falling apart.
Start the bidding. So you can start the bidding. You name it. And then whoever's got the highest bid when we come to the end, then that will be the bid that we take, which will be in about 2 or 3 minutes' time. Okay? So you start the bidding on there, guys, and whoever's got the highest, you know how it works. Okay, here we go. Right. First of all, we're going to... Okay, this is a controversial subject, but I thought it was quite funny anyway at the time. Right. Hey, we all miss the fans. Tim, you miss the fans? Is it the same without them?
Yeah, no, it's terrible. Awful.
Joe?
It's crap. It's crap without them. Yeah. Rubbish.
So, I've compiled, and you've both helped me compile, and so have the journalists, 8 reasons why it's great that there are no fans at games this season. Are we ready? Okay, here we go.
I mean, it was 10. You mean you've cut it down to start.
I've cut it down. I've cut it down to 8. Remember to start the bids, please. But 8. 8 reasons why it's great to have no fans. 1, no touching people when it comes to interviewing. There's no one there. They just send in the videos. It's great. Don't have to talk. Don't have to touch. Don't have to breathe. It's absolutely perfect. Absolute dream. That's number 8 of why it's great that there are no fans at games. Number 7, boys, press box space.
Yeah.
Oh, 3 or 4 seats each. Brilliant.
Yeah.
No? Don't agree?
Yeah, which is crucial when you get your fish out.
No wafting.
You stink. You absolutely stink.
No wafting whatsoever. So that's great. Table to yourself. Happy days. Number 6, car park spot at Molineux. Oh,
That's the biggie. That's like the one main benefit, I'd say.
car park spot at Molineux. Absolutely superb.
Yeah.
So that's great. Driving in, straight in, because for people who don't know, we've never had a car park spot, have we ever?
No.
Well, we had our spot in Asda, which was technically against Asda's rules and regulations. But we found a little secret spot where the CCTV couldn't pick us up and park there every week. Probably shouldn't have said that because we'll have to head back there one day. But anyway, it worked for us.
Right under that headlight, in that blind spot, absolutely perfect. Don't do it at home. Don't park at Asda because you know you'll get done. Joe did it. You'd be the guy who got done.
Yeah, I never did it. I never mustered up the courage. I used to park at the Star offices and then make the walk over, say hi to a few people on the way. There you go.
Big roll up, hi to a few people. Number five. Why 8 reasons why it's great that there are no fans. Number 5, no coffee line. You're straight into the kiosks. You get your Bovril, you get your Americano, you get your latte, you get your hot chocolate, you get your pucker pie. Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, that is true. There's no queue for sugar and extra milk either. It's a dream. It is. We get for people who don't know, we get the whole of the Billy Wright upper concourse to ourselves basically.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they've got one stall open who he does, I think
everything.
It's cappuccinos, tea, doesn't do Bovril, and that has been something we've been asking for a while, or hinting at, if you any chance of a Bovril, but as of yet, now look.
Number 4, swearing players. Players love a swear, by the way, but when you've got an empty ground, oh my God, does it echo? It's quite hilarious at times. Not just that, management as well. Brilliant. I mean, you heard Che Adams last night. It was absolutely brilliant if you're watching the game. But, I mean, our guys can give it. And, of course, you've got the... echoing all the way around. I mean, you do hear voices there, don't you? Plenty of voices. Who are the big boys, would you say, who you can hear constantly?
Connor Cody is constant. I mean, he manages the team on the pitch. It's serious point. It's amazing to witness because it's tactical instructions. It's encouragement to everybody. Him and John Ruddy between them. John Ruddy in the family enclosure below us. Just constantly barking out instructions. They've got to be 2 of the loudest in the league.
Yeah, unbelievable. Number 3, why it's great that there are no fans in the stadiums. This is brilliant for us, I think. No toilet queue. The last thing you want when you need to go and you're desperate to go is 50 bulky blokes stood around that brick wall to walk in and to get your business done. I mean, Joe, there's no one in there. You don't even have to wash your hands anymore. You just go in, happy days, get back out. I've seen you go in and out very, very quickly. There's no tap. There's no aircon. There's nothing. So That's absolutely brilliant, that, isn't it? I mean, that makes a big, big, big difference.
In and out, shake it all about, and you're done. There you go.
Number 2, why it's great that there are no fans in the stadiums. Traffic. Now, come on. Driving in and out of Molineux is absolutely dreamy.
Yeah, I'd say traffic any day of the week now. I haven't been in a traffic jam for a year. It's great being on the roads.
Just driving up the road, Stafford Road, just giving it the royal wave.
Yeah,
superb.
You've got your limo driver, haven't you? So
I do, yeah.
Have you had to furlough him actually during the last year?
He's back now.
Furloughed your butler as well, have you?
I had to drive to Villa Park the other day. I was disgusted. Number 1 reason why it's great that there are no fans in the stadiums. 4G, baby. 4G is magnificent, super fast, super special, super smart. Absolutely love it. So 4G is brilliant.
Yeah, it's it really helps you in particular because you need that crucial speed for your fantasy football team and your bets. which is what you spend the 90 minutes doing, as we all know.
Nelson Semedo, 50 to 1, next goal. I mean, I've had that for the last 3 weeks. I mean, any chance? Come on. So, right, that's the end of that section. Auction, we've got £100 at the moment. £100 by Mr. Mark Harvey, I think.
Yeah, brilliant.
It's very, very quick, I think. Mark Harvey for £100. Anyone else can top that. It's going to have to come on my screen very, very quickly. Going once to Mark Harvey for £100. Going twice for a golf day with me and Mr. Spiers. Gone. Mark Harvey, £100. Thank you very much. Brilliant.
Lovely.
Thank you very much, Mark Harvey. Just give me a tweet, mate, or get in touch with me or Luke or whoever, and we'll sort you out. We'll get the money across, and we'll see you for a round of golf very, very soon. Right. Let's go on to Family Fortunes. It's the quiz time, everyone. It's Family Fortunes. I can't play the music because it's copyrighted and it's stuck on YouTube. But we all know the name of the game. So are you ready, you two?
Yes.
Are you ready? Family Fortunes quiz.
Just two, is it? We haven't got families to back us up.
It's just you two. Okay. Before I start this, we'll go for the last auction item. Let's get it out of the way. Okay. So once this finishes, then whoever wins, whoever's got the highest bid. This is a very special one for me. Okay. Nuno, and I think we've got some pictures here. Luke, can you put some pictures up for me? See Nuno looking absolutely smart there in his NES kit. Look at that, in his tracksuit, in his shirt. Oh, look at that, in the shorts, in the tracksuit bottoms, proper full-on NES embossed. You can own all of Nuno worn tracksuits, pre-season tracksuits in your collection, all completely for you. It's not even washed. You can still have the smell of Nuno. The ladies might want their husbands to put it on just to smell that beautiful Portuguese cologne. But that's available. Nuno worn training kit, the full training kit, NES embossed, everything. Absolute, from one of the greatest managers of Wolves of all time. I think it's fair to say. So please get your bids in. I think it's a great auction. It's all come from Wolves Foundation. It's 100% legit. We've got all the certificate of authenticity from Wolves themselves. So please, please, please make sure that you are going to be bidding for this. And at the end of Family Fortunes, the highest bidder will win that. So brilliant. Okay, here we go. Family Fortunes, right. It's Team Spiers versus Team Jedward. So we haven't got buzzers.
I should just say there's someone called Alana making comments. Alana Judah, in fact. Talking about...
Wow.
Lots of gold balls for Nathan. I'm not sure what she's referring to.
Wow. Alana, you had one job.
Care to expand on that one, Nathan? Gold. Is that your nickname? Golden balls?
I guess a bit of racy at stage, Judy. You know, it's, you got to up the ante sometimes. Lockdown gets boring, doesn't it?
Okay, right.
Nathan and his gold balls. Yeah, I could have seen you hosting that, actually. Golden balls. Remember that? Quiz show.
No. What was that?
Jasper Carrot.
Yeah, never heard of it.
Split or steal. Very tense. So very kind of viral YouTube clip. This woman's crying, "Oh, I'm going to split the money with you. I'll never do it."
Oh, yes.
And then steal,
I would never, ever, ever split. I would go song and dance. I'd be throwing tears. Let's split. This means so much to me. And then I would just go steal 100%, take the money myself every time. You would 100% split, Joe, because you're a nice guy. Spiers, you're exactly the same as me, and you know you are.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, and people are also asking in the comments about what size Nuno's training gear is.
Nuno is extra large. Extra large.
Is that a fact? Is it? Is that a fact?
Well, yes. Well, we've been told by our Wolves it's extra large. Sorry, I didn't say extra large.
That would
large
fit,
it is.
That would fit me perfectly.
So a lot of people maybe want to wear it. Some people might want to put it on a mannequin. I don't know, but extra large is what it is. So it's £100. Apparently, is the highest so far. Get your bids in now, please. All going to Wolves Foundation. Feed our pack. Right, family fortune.
Alana's blaming gold balls on autocorrect, but I think you've just got to hold your hands up sometimes. So secret. My husband's nickname is Gold Balls.
Oh dear. Right, quickly moving on. Okay, here we go. Team Spiers versus Team Jedward. Like I say, no buzzers. So, Jedward, because you like an ooh, I want you, if you know the answer, say ooh.
Ooh.
And Tim, because you appreciate a goal, I want you to go, ah. Oh.
Okay, I can do that.
So, Joe first. Test it.
Ooh. Ooh.
Oh.
Quickly, Joe.
Ooh.
Tim.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Here we go. Happy days. Brilliant. Here we go. Okay. Are we ready? Oh, what we're playing for? Tim, I know you're off it now, but I've got a lovely bottle of Rioja for you here.
Oh, yeah. Look
For the winner. Lovely bottle of Rioja we can share when lockdown is over. Joe, some Tropicana for you,
yes.
mate. Happy days. A little bit of Tropicana.
We're playing Tropicana.
Really
but you don't want to lose this because, as you remember, back in the day with the Jelly Bellies, it gets worse than that. There is a forfeit for the loser. And the loser has to have a good swig of their drink and gargle Nuno Had a Dream.
Okay, right.
Okay. For the loser. There you go. You don't want to lose this. Okay, here we go. Are you ready? First one, family fortunes. Question 1, top 8 answers on the board. Can you name, in the last 3 seasons of the Premier League for Wolves, the most assists? Most Wolves assists.
Ooh.
Yes, Mr. Joe Edwards.
João Moutinho.
Ting is the top answer. João Moutinho in the last 3 seasons with 15 assists. Would you like to play or pass the Edwards family?
I'll play.
Play, okay. 15 for João Moutinho. We've got 7 to find. 3 lifelines.
Matt Doherty.
Matt Doherty. Ting! 8 assists. 4th equal he is. So there's 2, Joe.
Raul Jimenez.
Raul Jimenez. Ting! Woo, 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 woo. You get a free bottle of Tizer. And number 2 on the list. So that's 3 down. No lifelines used.
Adama Traore.
Ting! Number 3 on the list with 10 assists. 10 assists. Incredibly, none this season.
So that's 4 found, 4 to go.
4 found, 4 to go on all your lifelines.
Ruben Neves.
Ting! 6th equal with 6 assists. You're doing very, very well here. 5 out of 8. 3 to get.
Pedro Neto.
Ting! 4th equal with 8 assists. You've got 2 to get. 2 to get for a full house without the Spiers family even having a chance.
Diogo Jota.
Ting! 6th equal with 6 assists. 1 to get and 3 lifelines.
Leander Dendoncker. No.
Actually, both of you, can you go into private chat and not comments because some people are typing comments. I don't want you to see them. So can you both go into private chat for us to see on the screen?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. So, no, it's not Dendoncker.
It's not Dendoncker.
No.
It's Helder Costa.
Oh, that's good. That is good.
It's not.
Is it there? It's not there. Okay. One lifeline left. You've done so well, Joe. Don't let it go now.
Daniel Pedence.
It's not there. It goes over to the Spiers family for a chance to steal. Mr. Tim Spiers, who has the most Wolves assists in the last 3 seasons?
All the answers I wrote down, Joe has said. So can I say my workings? Is that okay?
I need to push you, but quickly.
Oh, okay. I'm going to say Bolly or Johnny. I think they've only got like 2 or 3. I'm going to say Johnny.
It's Johnny. Johnny. He's taking it. He's Johnny. Johnny with 3 assists. Just
that's so
gets in
lucky.
there.
How many did you get? What did you get? 7 there.
7, yeah.
Great run.
7 out of 8, but no. Unfortunately, no cake, Joe.
No.
7 out of 8. Okay. Question number 2. Where are we with bids at the moment? 125 quid for Nuno. Come on, guys. We get more than that for Nuno 1 XL training. All the training gear, everything. Shirt, jumper, shorts, tracksuit bottoms, the lot. NES embossed. Right. Question number 2. Are you ready? Top 8 goal scorers in the last time Wolves were in the Premier League, 2011-12.
Ooh. I don't know who that was first, actually.
I think it was you, Joe, so I'm going to give you it.
What was he? Okay.
Yeah.
2011-12.
Last time Wolves were in the Premier League, top 8 goal scorers.
Stephen Fletcher.
Ting! Number 1, 12. Would you like to play or pass? Top 8.
I'll pass this one.
Pass this one over to Mr. Spiers. So you've got 7 to find in the Premier League, 2011-12. Who were the top 8 goal scorers?
They only scored about 30 goals in total, didn't they?
Oh, that's what I'm saying. It's difficult.
Right, as you said, Fletcher. Kevin Doyle was around that season.
Ting! Number 3 with 4 goals. 3rd highest scorer.
Top 8
this season.
God, you're going to like 1 goal territory here.
No.
Fletcher Doyle up front. Jarvis on the wings. Jarvis scored a couple.
Ting! He scored 8. 8 in that season. Number 2. 8 Premier League goals for Matt Jarvis. So that's 3.
And on the other wing would be Kitely, I guess.
Michael Kitely. Ting! Correct. 4th equal with 3 goals. 3 goals.
Sylvan Ebanks Blake.
Only 1 goal that season. 1 Premier League goal. 1 Premier League goal. First line goal.
Jody Craddock.
No. You've got 4 to find. So, Joe, the Edwards family, have a little bit of a conference. You might get a chance. 4 to find. Tim, you're on your last lifeline.
Dangerous Dave. Dave Edwards.
Ting is there. 4th equal with 3 goals. 3 to find. 3 to find. 3 to find.
O'Hara scored at West Brom away, I think, that season. Yeah. Jamie O'Hara got a couple.
Ting! Just in there with 2 goals. 2 men to find. 2 men to find. 1 lifeline
tough.
left.
Really tough. Oh, God.
Gonna have to rush you. 3, 2.
Stephen Hunt.
Ting! Stephen Hunt, 1 to find. 1 to find.
1 to find and 1 lifeline.
1 to find, 1 lifeline for a clean sweep.
Christ. I can't think of any more attackers.
3, 2.
Andy Keogh.
It goes over to the Edwards family. There's 1 person left who scored 3 goals. Can you get him, or is Spiers going to sweep you and we're going to be hearing you gargling?
I think you're probably going to be hearing me gargling. Stephen Ward.
Oh, it's there! It's there!
Wow.
It's there! It's there! 3 goals. Stephen Ward, we go to a decider. Fair play. Absolutely superb. Fletcher, Jarvis, Doyle, Edwards, Hunt, Kitely, Ward and O'Hara were the guys. Okay, fair play.
Come on.
All right, here we go. £130, by the way, for the Nuno top at this moment in time, and bottoms and everything else that comes
Very
with the tracksuit.
decent.
Nice.
Okay. Question number 3. This is a big one. Are you ready?
Ready.
Again, in the last 3 seasons, as Wolves have been in the Premier League, can you top 7 answers here? The Wolves players with the most yellow cards.
Ooh.
Jedward.
Romain says.
Romain Saiss. Boom. Number 2. Number 2
Ooh,
on the list with 18.
2.
18 yellow cards. So I can offer this to Tim Spiers.
I think because I looked this up the other week. I think it's Ruben Neves.
It is Ruben Neves with 22 yellow cards over 3 seasons. Tim, would you like to play or pass?
Going to pass that one.
Pass that one. Pass that one to Mr. Joe Edwards. So we've got Ruben Neves, we've got Romain Saiss, and we have got 5 to find. 5 to find.
Moutinho.
Jean Moutinho is there, 4th on the list with 14 bookings, 4th equal.
Okay. Dendoncker.
Dendoncker.
Not there. How many more? So I've got.
There is 4 more. 4 more. Last 3 seasons, total bookings.
That's tough.
That is a tough one.
Last 3 seasons combined.
Willy
There's 4
Bolly.
players to find.
Willy Bolly.
You're on your last lifeline.
Ooh.
That's
Last
how good he is.
lifeline.
That's how good he is. Never needs to get booked.
This is you're struggling, Joe, because this could be the loss.
Matt Doherty.
You are gargling, baby. Tim Spiers wins 2-1. The Spiers family. Very good.
Don't I have to get one right?
He has to get it right, yes.
No, because you got it and then you passed across. You passed across, you got the 3. He's already got the top answer. He's won.
Oh, okay.
He's won. The people you missed out from bottom to top: Diogo Jota, 15 bookings.
Yeah.
Connor Cody, 14 bookings.
That's surprising.
Ryan Bennett, 14
course,
bookings.
Yeah. Brexit Bennett, of course.
Yeah.
And Johnny, 10 bookings. 10 bookings. So, Mr. Joe Edwards, you lost that. So, can you get a good swing and gargle Nuno Had a Dream, please, the whole thing? Keep going.
Last verse. Oh no, I've swallowed it.
Nathan's
There you go. The things we do anyway in this job.
Brilliant. Super.
When I became Wolves reporter, this is exactly what I dreamt of doing.
Someone just logged on and gone, what the hell is this crap?
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Gargling, Nuno Had a Dream with Aldi beer in my mouth.
Oh, superb, mate. Living the absolute dream. There you go. There's expressing our wages for you. Right. Thank you very much, gents. And thank you very much to the highest bidder at this moment in time, which is James Stibbs for £145, I believe, Luke.
Oh, yeah, baby.
£145. I'm going to have to say going. And I'm going to have to say gone. James Stibbs, congratulations. £145 for you, sir. Very well done. Very well done. So, James, if you can get in touch with myself or Luke, that would be absolutely great. Thank you very much for that, £145. Okay. Right, we've got some questions. So it's questions time for everybody. This is the time where you, the peeps, the people watching, and we've got nearly 400 of you, I think, on there watching. So can you please send in your questions on the comments page, and we will make sure which one of Judas 27 rooms is he broadcasting from, says Mikey Bowers. Great to have you on, Mikey. Great to have you on, pal. So complete. I know there's a bit of a delay, but we'd like to take your questions in for anything that we maybe haven't discussed yet. Boys, I mean, look, they can still finish the season well, can't they? They can still win 5 or 6 games, can they? Because, I mean, these are all winnable games.
They can if they score goals. They've got to start scoring and scoring more from open players, as Tim has said. They've kind of sat back and been a bit defensive, but the defence doesn't look quite as solid as it has done in the past. Yes, they have picked up results-wise, but you're not looking at that defence, especially when Bolly's not in it, and you're thinking we're definitely going to keep a clean sheet here. So, I just think I'd like to see a bit more creativity, a bit more, license to attack. And I said it earlier this week. I'd probably start Silva against Liverpool. To be honest, I don't see what there is to lose. I think he's looked a lot busier than Jose in his cameos, albeit he's only been on the pitch for 20 minutes, half hour. But Jose maybe needs that proverbial kind of kick up the backside, really, and just to kind of say that your place isn't guaranteed. And because I think Silva, when he's come on over the last few weeks, I don't think he's done himself any great harm, to be honest.
Right, here we go. Questions coming in thick and fast. Mark Harvey says, what's the situation? We'll keep these quick answers because there's lots of people coming. What's the situation with our FFP rules and how come it's not affected Everton, says Mark. Tim, one for you.
Wolves have been done by FFP before because they're in Europe, whereas they're not in Europe this season. So I don't know the Everton example to hand, but I know that Wolves are pretty confident of fitting into the regulations now they're not in Europe. Being in Europe was the issue, and that shouldn't be a problem this season. It's not been something that they've been massively thinking about, albeit this season income massively down like everybody because of the pandemic. So, but if you look at what Wolves did last summer in the transfer market, it was net spend of 0 really because they sold Jota, Doherty and Costa for 80 million. So financially, the books are pretty balanced from last year's point of view. We'll see what happens this year, which will be out pretty soon.
Yeah.
Okay, Joe, do you think Nuno is still attractive to Europe's top clubs?
I think so, but at the same time, I think he's pretty committed to the project, and of course he signed that new contract as well. And I think there is an onus on making sure that he gets the players that he wants as well in the summer, and giving Wolves a real kind of fist of doing things next season as in the way that they want to. So, yeah, I think he's still an attractive prospect, but at the same time, I don't see him kind of immediately up in sticks to go to a big Spanish club or one of the top Italian teams or one of the big 6 in the Premier League per se. Really, I think he's pretty committed to the cause, pretty committed to the project, and he's putting the groundwork. And they want really something tangible to show for it. They've had the 7th place finishes, of course, but I think the next step really, while they won't say it, and it's all day by day commitment, etc. Got to try and make a serious play for a trophy, whether that's another good run in the FA Cup or taking the Carabao a bit more seriously. Be nice to have a bit of silverware in the cabinet to really show for what progress has been made over these last few years.
Good stuff. Next question we've got. Here we go. Breaking news, says Reese. Tim Spiers is getting married. 2021 confirmed. He's taking Nathan Joe and 2 Wolves players on the stag do. Who are we taking, Tim?
I need to find a missus first, mate.
Well, I mean, look, you've got plenty of beautiful who are watching now. This is your chance to shine and put yourself across.
2 current players. Two current players we're saying, or two past? Because I know who I'd take from the past for sure. The ultimate party animal from the 2011-12 squad who plays up front. No names revealed. If it's of the current lot, I mean, none of them really drink. To be honest, like all joking aside, they're not like big drinkers.
I'm not having Ruben Neves at a table, mate. Do you know what I mean? Lovely guy, but if I want to get wasted, he's going to be quiet, having his water.
I think he'd be awful on a stag do. I think he'd be absolutely terrible. He wouldn't. 1 a.m. the night's done for Ruben. We've also got 3 kids now. He doesn't want to be going off to the kind of places
You're going to be in Spearman Rhino when your VIP lounges.
Be careful, just be careful, because I've got a little video I'd love to put on the internet. So I think of the current squad, you'd probably take Cody and Neto for pure non-stop laughing and banter. The two guys are just brilliant to be around, infectious, lively personalities. So they'd be great. But as far as drinking, you're going to have to go back a bit. I don't know anything about this guy and this guy's history, and this is not defamatory in any way, but I'd definitely take Leo Bonatini.
Leo Bonatini? I mean, he loves sliding into a DM, by the way. Look at this little girl. What about this girl?
Here we go.
Oh, God.
No, you don't fancy it? I mean, Stitch would be great a night out.
Does that say Wolves on the scarf? Yeah.
Yeah, she's got a little wolf scarf saying Stitch.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, brilliant.
On to Harlem. No, you don't like it? I think it's quite cute. What a good girl. What a good girl. Say hello to everybody. Say hello.
She's behaving pretty well, to be honest, yeah.
She's a good girl. She's a good girl. There you go. Have her back.
There you go. I think Ruddy would be decent as well. He comes across as a good laugh, and kind of he's the dad of the group almost. But yeah, he seems like he'd have a good time.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it'd be very decent. Here we go. Right. Let's have a look. Is letting Pedro Gonçalves go the biggest mistake Wolves have made? Tim.
I'd say the bigger mistake is not letting him go on loan. Like I did a piece on this a few weeks ago, and I fully understand why he went at the time, because he'd just been playing under 23 football. He'd mostly been playing central midfield, and at the time they were going into their second or first Premier League season with Neves, Moutinho, with Dendoncker ahead of him. They thought there's no chance of him getting the first team. He's too good for the under 23s. That's what they felt. And he needed to get out. He was at that stage of his career. Now, what they should have done, in my opinion, was send him out on loan to Portugal and see what he could have done, and then brought him back. But they sold him for not a lot of money. He's done pretty well, and then he's moved on to Sporting, and now he's just turned into a superstar. But you can never tell with these things. Yes, it's frustrating. Yes, it's a massive mistake. Two things I'd say. One, Wolves will continue to benefit financially if he makes a big move in the summer. And two, these things happen. Ask Lazio fans how they feel about Pedro Neto being nicked by Wolves when he'd only been on their bench. He didn't even start a game for Lazio. Ask Atletico Madrid fans what they think about Diogo Jota never kicking a ball for them. And then he went to Wolves. And now look where he is. And Wolves have done that with a host of players. Raul Jimenez being another one. Benfica fans would say, why did they let him go? So Wolves have benefited from kind of taking players that were under the radar in the past. This one has worked the other way. But yes, they should have let him out on loan first rather than selling him, in my opinion.
Okay. So look, will Wolves get into Europe next season, Liam Williams? Joe?
It all depends on what they do in the summer. It really does. And I know that sounds a bit of a get-out answer, but if they make a serious play for it in the summer, then yeah, why not? And if they keep the bulk of what they've got now, the key players, then yeah, every chance of doing it. But if repeat similar mistakes of what were made last summer, then no, it won't happen. It all kind of, they've got to set the stall out in the summer. They've got to make I know COVID and. In terms of that, there won't be the astronomical fees that we've seen in summers past, but I think they've got to spend big relative to what everybody else is doing. I think that, you see some clubs like Villa, I think Villa will probably spend again, and they had a good summer last summer and they've done well this season. They'll look to build on that as well. So if everybody else is doing it, you can't afford to sit still. And it all depends on the summer.
Tim, Anil Kumar, what would you sell Adama Traore for?
At least double what they paid for him, so at least 40. But I think probably a little bit more than that, given we know what he can be, and Nuno's been talking about him quite a lot recently in glowing terms, saying quite pertinently in a press conference a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if people saw, but he just said, "Look, Adama Traore is going to be." Basically said, "Adama Traore is going to be incredible one day. It's all gonna click. It's all gonna drop. He's going to be unbelievable." It's basically what he said. He wasn't talking like this at all, but I'm just paraphrasing. And we just hope that it's with Wolves. And Nuno said, "I hope I'm here when it happens." Basically, so they strongly believe that it can happen. But no goals, no assists this season. I know there were kind of mitigating circumstances behind that. The issue is they've probably got to sell a player this summer, because there's not a huge amount of spare cash flying around. Fosun want to make money anyway, let alone in a global pandemic when their income's been completely decimated. So I think they're going to have to sell someone this summer to invest in the rest of the squad. That's my prediction. And you're probably looking at Traore or Neves in terms of big fees. I don't think you'd want to let Neto go at this stage. So there's a massive decision to make there.
If they sold Neto this summer, there'd be a riot on, wouldn't there?
I think he's pretty settled. He's pretty happy. He's very grounded, and he's only had sort of half a good season. So I'm not sure clubs would be willing to pay a ridiculous amount of money based on the fact he's only just having this season. So a massive decision to make. Like I said, Traore and Neves would be the two that could probably command the biggest fees. But yeah, one other thing I say, if they don't want to spend a lot of money, I think we'll see a lot of like loans to buy this summer. They might just get cute in the market if they really don't want to sell anybody.
Gareth Jones, one for you, Joe. Every big player seems to have signed a new contract to have been offered, apart from Adama. When is Neves' contract up?
Neves has got 2 or 3 years, I think, still left. I don't think it's expiring anytime soon. I think they're pretty comfortable on that, but I think he will be one that they look at because they've obviously tied down Neto, tied down Johnny this season, Cody, obviously Nuno. You'd imagine Neves is pretty soon next on the list.
Baby. Keep that vodka flowing, Spiers. I love it.
Yeah, I don't think it's like something that they need to do straight away, but maybe, hopefully they keep hold of him in the summer, and then that's when they kind of do it, and reward him for his commitment.
Hungry like the wolf, as you are. Are you still drinking? Are you drinking that neat?
No, I've got some.
Says Tim, do you think Dion Sanderson needs another year on loan before coming into the first team, or is he ready in the summer based on his growth at Sunderland? Lovely article and piece that you did with him. I saw you at him on Twitter. That's great news. So you'll know very well, Dion. You and him are like that.
Good. What are you talking about, you idiot? Good. Good question, Hungry.
Oh, you're giving me Bieber and Spiers. Oh no, on the old Twitter.
Very true. I'll take it. I went to watch him a couple of weeks ago away at Crewe for Sunderland, and Sunderland had a bit of an... They'd kept like 3 clean sheets in a row. I was like, I've got a free Saturday. I'll go watch him. And then they had a horrendous first half. Conceded twice to Crewe. They were terrible. I was like, for God's sake, it's the curse of me being here. But he was still their best defender. They pulled it back to 2-2. And he had a great game. And Lee Johnson, who's recently taken over at Sunderland, doing a great job. They are gunning for the top 2. People will very well know Sunderland's problems over the years. They're gunning for the top 2, and he's at the heart of their defence. 4-man defence. He's playing centre-half, his preferred position. He's got the last 4 Man of the Match awards from Sunderland fans on Twitter. It's absolutely fantastic. He's doing brilliantly. Like, he went to Cardiff last year at right back, not his natural position, did himself proud in the Championship, and now he's in his natural position at Sunderland and doing brilliant. He can't do any more, but obviously it's League One. It's two leagues below the Premier League. Wolves want an established first-team defender for me this summer, someone that they know is going to come in and do a great job. Dion Sanderson's not going to be that player. However, I would not be getting rid of him at this stage. If Sunderland are promoted, they'll want him. I wouldn't let him go. I think he's got a lot of potential. He's got all the attributes you want. Get him on loan to the Championship next season, maybe with Sunderland again if they go up, and then hopefully bring him back. And we'll see a local lad from Wednesfield doing something in the Wolves squad. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, I think he's out of contract, isn't he, the summer after next? So I think that what they probably want to do is at least kind of give him another year or perhaps another 2 years on his contract and then send him out on loan again, just to avoid that kind of situation where you could lose a player like him on a free and, a young English player, plenty of potential. Whether he's quite right for Wolves in the long run, or perhaps the jury's out on that just yet. But there's certainly potentially you don't want to lose that on a free.
Colin Terry, what's next for Morgan Gibbs White? Joe?
I think if a decent bid comes in for him this summer, it's worth seriously entertaining. And not only just from a Wolves perspective, but from the players' perspective as well. And he got what he wanted and what he needed for nigh on 2 years really when he went to Swansea. And it was something that we said that would benefit him for a while. Went there, of course, injury curtailed that time. And then before we knew it, he was back at Wolves and back on the bench and, not really doing a lot. Wolves haven't really played with that kind of player in the system. Maybe they could cater for it in a 4 in the long term. But, in the time that Gibbs White has played, he's played a decent amount of games. It's not, he's not a sure-made starter at Premier League level and for a club of Wolves' ambitions, really. So it's whether they want to send him out on loan for another year or whether they decide, maybe the time is right to sell and perhaps not in a Gonçalves situation to just kind of cover your backs a little bit, but, maybe just include some sort of buyback or something like that, maybe just to cover their backs a little bit. But I think for his perspective and from Wolves' perspective, I think that's something that might be seriously worth entertaining in the summer. That he's a young English player, he'll probably command a decent fee, for an upwardly mobile Championship club. Maybe somebody just coming into the Premier League, maybe Swansea get promoted. That maybe his permanent future could lie away from Wolves. Never mind just on loan.
Tim, he's not starting in the Premier League for Wolves, is he, on a regular basis? You can't see that, can you?
I think Wolves have moved too quickly for Gibbs White over the past 4 years. If Wolves were still in the Championship, he'd be playing every week. So would Dion Sanderson, so would Ryan Giles, but they're looking higher than that, unfortunately. And Gibbs White just has to play football. Your likes of James Maddison and Mason Mount and Harvey Barnes, they all made it in the Championship, whether that was on loan or in Maddison's case at Norwich. Mount went down to Derby and made his name. Barnes went down to West Brom and made his name. Gibbs White's got to do the same, and that it should have happened for him this season, and it was happening. He was basically the best player in the league in September for Swansea, and then we know the circumstances since with his injury and being recalled. He's just got to play. I'd give him a year in the Championship next season. Really see what he can do. See if he can do what Barnes and Mount and Maddison did, because he's got that potential. He honestly has. I know we haven't seen it for a while, but it's still there. So I'll send him out on loan to Championship, and then hopefully he can come back and do something special.
Joe, one from Ronan Gibbons. Do you think Jota wanted to leave, or was he happy to stay at Wolves?
I think when Liverpool come in, it's very difficult to turn them down, and I don't think he was actively looking for a move. But I think when Liverpool come calling, European champions, Premier League champions, then you're very hard pressed to say no, and especially at that time that he wasn't playing every week for Wolves, and and it suited Wolves in a sense that they got big money for him. So I don't think he's a player that from when we've dealt with him and spoke to him and seen the kind of character that he is. He's not somebody who's going to kick up a fuss and down tools and force a move. But equally, when Liverpool come calling, I think any player will be kind of attracted and at least willing to listen to what Liverpool have to say.
Mike O says, Tim, what was your favourite European away trip last season?
Wow.
Turin for those reasons.
Yeah, for the night out or for the game. Istanbul was very good. That was a lot of fun. Armenia was all right. I quite enjoyed Armenia. That was good.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, long trip though.
Where did we get absolutely hammered? Athens.
There's a few of them to test.
Barcelona, that was very good as well.
Yeah.
I think Turin for the result and the city and the night out and the video. I mean, honestly, I've never seen anything like it. To be honest, it's just incredible. It was a fantastic night. Absolutely. I mean, the amount of money we spent, by the way. Oh my god.
Oh god, it's absolutely.
I think we took 3 trips to the cash machine. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Jonathan Giddings, stadium development, will it happen, Joe Edwards?
It's a £1 million question, isn't it?
Well, it's a multi-million-pound question, to be honest. Ba-bum.
Well, yeah, I mean, they've got the planning permission for that corner stand, which is yet to go underway. So whether they can continue on with that, it'll be interesting to see. I think they've got 3 years within getting the planning permission, which was last September off the top of my head, or round about that time. So yeah, it's just a case of seeing whether they actually start on that and do the more gradual process that they were speaking about, or whether they just decide to go for something a bit more radical again. But yeah, it's very hard to say at the minute. I'm sorry I can't say a bit more than that, but it's just the question on everybody's lips, I guess.
Kate Starkey, Tim, when are we going to hear from Jeff Shee? Silence is deafening.
I don't think anytime soon. I think they've kind of moved away from this kind of rolling commentary. Not that they were speaking that often, but they were speaking pretty regularly in the first kind of 3 years of Fosun. They want to move away from that. Like if you look at the big clubs, you don't see Daniel Levy coming out when Spurs have lost 5 in a row and kind of saying, "Look, guys, calm down. We've got this under control. We know what we're doing." And everyone was calling for that when Wolves went through that horrible spell at Christmas. It was where's Jeff? Where's Jeff?
Yeah.
One, he's not going to speak in a transfer window because it was January at the time. And two, like I said, they want to move away from that. They want to be as sort of, have that big club mentality where they're not kind of in the nicest possible way. They're not answering to the fans at every opportunity. I think that's kind of like a League One Championship mentality that you don't really get from Premier League clubs. So we've seen a bit of a change. What I would say is that without Laurie Dalrymple and without Kevin Thelwell and without Nuno, because Nuno doesn't speak about the big issues. He doesn't. He's a head coach in so many ways. So there's a bit of a vacuum there of communication. And I think certainly the way the season's gone and the amount of things that have gone wrong, you could do with someone speaking in the summer. I think the fans would really like to hear from Jeff or someone else senior like Scott Sellers. Because like I said, Nuno doesn't really do that. As we know from his press conferences, it's just football. He's not really going to talk about transfers or stadium developments or anything like that. So yeah, there's a bit of a vacuum that needs filling.
Here we go. Can you unblock me on Twitter, please, Nathan? Yes, Christian, of course, I'll unblock you on Twitter. Blocked a few this season, to be fair.
Yeah.
Tim, and then I go to Tim, because Tim used to be the blocker of the king blocker, as you would say. I mean, saying right around, he used to block everybody. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, and then I said, I came up to you about a month ago saying, I've blocked about 15 people this season. Blocked about 15 people. And you were like, I don't block anyone now. I just let them all out. I was having a few drinks. I'm like, bugger it. I'll let everybody back in.
It was early lockdown 1 days, and I just had a kind of the world's such a tough place. Like, let's just forget about it and unblock everybody. And it was like I unblocked 300 in one go, right?
300.
That was all the ones I blocked. I unblocked them all. It was literally like opening the gates to the loony bin, and they all crawled out. Dear me. So yeah, the only person I've blocked on Twitter is Katie Hopkins, and that will remain the case if she's even on it. I don't know.
She's binned off it now. I think she's gone.
Maybe, yeah.
And me. And how many have you got muted though?
Oh, there's so many, so many, hundreds, maybe even 1,000 that are muted. So if you've been asking me stuff on Twitter for a while and I haven't responded, including you, Judah, that's probably why.
Oh, brilliant. Let's have a look. Someone said, let's have a look. Is Liam Williams, this is an interesting question, and one of my gripes, is Ruben Neves actually any good at shooting? Because I'll be honest, he was a genius with free kicks back in the day. For me, he's one of the worst in the Premier League at free kicks now. I'd give it to someone else, man. But what do you guys think, Joe and then Tim?
Yeah, I think he's a good shooter, but equally, I think it is time for somebody else probably on the free kick front. Let Neto take a free kick, or even if you're looking for a goal from Traore, maybe let him take a free kick. He probably doesn't strike you as a set piece specialist, but I guess you don't know until you try. Neves has taken a few free kicks and the flat to deceive this season, but we've seen him how he strikes a ball. Not many can strike a ball how he does when he gets it right. He's not going to get it right every time. No player is perfect, but on the free kick front, I do think there is time for. Maybe give somebody else a chance. We've been saying it for a couple of months now.
Tim?
He's had about 200 shots this season, hasn't he? I think he hit the bar at one point. I seem to remember towards the start of the season, and then since then, it's not like they're going into Rose Ed, but he's it's so frustrating. Do you remember that championship season when he scored the most sort of delectable goals?
Awesome.
he scored like a 25-yard pass against Sheffield Wednesday away.
Oh, that was lovely. Yeah.
Guided it in the corner. Obviously, his unbelievable derby goal. The Sheffield United one he put in the top corner. I miss those days. Really miss those days. That's how good he is. But yeah, in terms of free kicks, I'd give it Sace, to be honest. Do you remember that? I can't remember the game this season. They had Neves, Matinho, and Sace on the free kick. I was like, no way.
Come on.
He's just there for banter, right? And then Sace took a 25-yard free kick. I was like, what's going on there?
No, never going to happen. Oh dear. One here for Tim from Jathan Nuda, and he says, "What was the main reason for leaving the Express and Star and moving to the £100 million backed company known as the Athletic?" Oh dear, good banter.
What was the name of that listener? Sorry, that reader.
Jathan Nuda.
Jathan Nuda. Oh, dear. Right, thank you very much for your questions, everybody. Great stuff. I did say that we've got our brand new sponsors, which are fantastic. Slightly different from Manscaped, from Mr. Spiers, and we've got a great partnership with Adoption at Heart, which we're very excited for now and throughout till the end of the season. So a little bit about our new sponsors. Thinking about adoption, we have all the information you need at Adoption at Heart, your regional adoption agency for the Black Country. Adoption at Heart provides adoption services for the City of Wolverhampton Council, Walsall Council, Dudley Borough Council, and Sandwell Children's Trust, and is encouraging those who are considering adoption to come forward and take the next step. The Black Country Agency is appealing for adopters who could give our children lots of individual time, understanding, and ongoing support, and are looking to recruit adopters from within a diverse section of the community, irrespective of gender, sexual orientation, disability, race, or faith. To start your adoption journey or to find out more, why not book on the next virtual information event? Visit adoptionatheart.org.uk to see the next available dates. Thank you very much. And it's great to have you on board. And it's slightly difficult to read that after 4 margaritas, but I got through, which is the best thing. Awesome. Love that. And we'll be hearing plenty more from them in the next few weeks. Right. Moving on. It is that time of bringing back one of the more popular segments to the old retro podcast, the one we haven't had for quite some time, but it is back. So without further ado, we have got It's Abuse of the Week!
Abuse of the Week!
Abuse of the Week!
Abuse of the Week.
Ka! It's Abuse of the Week, right? See,
I had to leave you two to it. I couldn't jump on that. That is your thing.
I was expecting you to come in because you've got a very low voice, Joe. So you're going to come with like a tenor. Abuse of the Week. Okay, Here we go. Right, I've got some tweets from Pete's. Some decent ones actually. Here we go. Roberto says, Spiers is a Poundland Piers Morgan with a beard, about to use that manscape and have a shave it back off. Bugger off back to the Athletic, he says. Up Joe Edwards, he says, Roberto. Unbelievable scenes.
It's a good start.
Ronan Gibbons. Joe looks like Tim and Nathan's love child.
Yeah.
Can see that. Let's
Have
a look. What else have we got? A Mars Music Show. When I heard that Tim was wearing a crown, I automatically assumed that his head would be up a turkey's arse. Got to have that with the friend situation, the glasses on. Oh, you're going to put glasses on? Oh, they've been classed, to be fair. Lord Jason Guy says, will Joe Edwards get taken on by the Express and Star after his work experience ends?
I'm not sure. It hangs in the balance, to be honest. It's 50-50.
Here we go. Amar says, at 23, the only female interaction Tim had was with his blow-up doll. Fancy a doll, Spiers, in lockdown on your own, mate? I mean, there's some very decent copies these days, isn't there?
Lifelike, yeah.
Are they, Nathan? You've done a bit of research, have you, pal?
Very, very lifelike, mate. Silicon-based. Here we go. Ian Mundy says, Judas, Spiers and Edwards, like a shit boy band Simon Cowell put together One of the rejects at the judges' houses. David
What
Gannon.
would be our boy band name if you had to? You could come up with it. I'll give you creative freedom. Dollar bills or like on Tim's.
What would you go for? I mean, I'm one for my Glastonbury and on my music festival. By the way, have you got musical festival tickets coming up? I mean, I'm looking forward to those music festivals. That's one thing I've missed.
Do you want to come to Isle of Wight with me? You'd absolutely love it.
I'm down for the Isle of Wight Garage Shed Festival. That'd be awesome, mate.
We should book it tonight when you've had a few, because I can tell you are steaming.
Well, I'll go anyway. You know me.
Well. It's Alana's lucky night tonight. I could see it.
Oh dear. David Gannon, has Brittany used his lawnmower 3.0 for his Barnet in lockdown?
Multi-purpose.
Here we go. Let's have a look. Tim Spiers tells his missus, says Lynx Wolf, that he's fantasizing about Jackie Oatley, but he's actually only too ashamed to tell her that he's really thinking of Mr. Nathan Judah. Is that true, Tim?
No, I haven't got a missus now.
Stu says, is Tim's beard real or is it stuck on like in Team America? Great movie, by the way, Team America.
Brilliant movie. Underrated movie. Very good. I
haven't seen it, to be fair, but I'm sure it's great. I actually haven't seen it. Is the return of the appearance by Tim Spiers akin to Benicophobie's second spell at the club?
I'll take that. 100% take that.
It's quite true.
Really good.
Yeah, very good. Let's have a look. Last one. We all know why Joe has got his job at the E&S. After all, they don't call him Ho Edwards for no reason.
And then I think somebody replied with Blow Edwards.
Blow Edwards as well.
Yeah, very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, so.
Actually, talking about abuse of the week, I mean, I've got to say, before we move on to talking and previewing Liverpool, which will be our last segment of the evening, you'll be pleased to know. Got to say thank you to, and I hope he can come up here, our technical director tonight. People will know him from Podcast 1, Live Podcast 2, Mr. Luke Hatfield. Is he there, Luke Hatfield? Can you come on a bit of four-way banter?
Hello. Hey, look at that hat.
Ooh. And remember, people will remember from Wolves episode 100 at the old WV1 lounge at Molineux. People did say he was just a shit Roger Johnson, which I think was nice.
No, it was the River Island thing, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, River Island model. Yeah.
What was it, Luke? I know that you'll know this. I know you think about it every time you could see.
Yeah.
What was the line?
The line was something like, Luke looks like the love child of River Island and Top Man.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Because I was wearing a blazer and like a similar white t-shirt actually. But and then the second time it was a Roger Johnson jibe. How far has Roger Johnson fallen now that he's taking questions at a Live Wolves podcast? But thankfully, I dodged a lot of the abuse this time.
You did. We should have got you on earlier on. I think if people had seen your face earlier on, then you would have been you would have got a little bit more attention. But we appreciate all the work you did and all these pretty sight looks, all very, very good. So thank you very much, man. It was your birthday as well. They're both birthday boys with those balloons in the background. So nicely positioned, mate. Appreciate that.
Oh yeah, you got to set the room properly, haven't you?
Great stuff. Everyone, another round of applause for Luke Hatfield. Thank you very much, Luke. Right, okay, moving on now. Here we go. It is Monday Night Football. It is Liverpool against Wolverhampton Wanderers at Molineux. Joe, we'll start with you, mate. How are things looking? Look, Liverpool are terrible, but just winning the Champions League. They're going to go to Molineux. A lot of people will be expecting Wolves to try and potentially beat them, if not a draw. Liverpool have still got some useful players, though, I've heard.
Yeah, they're still a decent team, aren't they? They're on a difficult run, but it's, I'd just like to see Wolves, throw a little bit of caution to the wind. And, I think, as I said, I think Silva is worth a start up front. Hopefully, Bolly's fit enough to play at the back as well. He's been training all week, it seems. Nuno will probably have a bit more of an update on him. The condition of Podence is slightly unknown at the minute. I'd imagine it'd be too soon for him. They might want to rush him back anyway, I don't think, before the international break. But if they can get Bolly back in, I think that really helps in terms of defence. And I think try Silva either side of the net. I mean, in the middle of Neto and Traore. There just seems to be a little more of an understanding between the three of them. Of course, I think time is on Silva's side in that respect because he's just been around the squad longer, but he just seems to make a few more runs and get on the end of a few more things than Jose has been, to be honest. And maybe Jose can come off the bench and have an impact. Fingers crossed, but I'd personally go with Silva against Liverpool because I don't think there's really much to lose.
Silva for you, Joe. Tim, would you go with Fabio Silva ahead of Williams Jose on Monday?
He's had a few. I quite like the dynamic now of Jose starting and Silva coming on with that enthusiasm for like the last 20 to 30 minutes. But there's pros and cons for both of them, really. Like we kind of alluded to earlier in your imaginative segment, good, bad, or ugly. One doesn't move in the box and the other does, but he doesn't score. So I think there is a lot to be said for Jose's strengths in terms of literally his strength and the fact that he's much better at linking the play in the final third. His pass completion rate is about 30-40% higher than Silva's in the final third. I think that's why he's in the team, and I think that's why Nuno will probably stick with him for the time being. Although, his last two performances have been well below the standards he set, and he's not doing himself justice. Palace away, his full debut, he did really well. But since then, he has tailed off a bit and he looks like he lacks energy and he looks like he's not on the wavelength of his teammates either. What
I would say, though, gents, and correct me if I'm wrong, but look, if and when Raul does return, and fingers crossed he does return and gets a few games between now and the end of the season, you've got to say that if they had to make a decision on Jose now, especially that money, that kind of money, I know that Joe, you had a story today saying that they might negotiate or renegotiate. I think they're going to have to if they're going to sign some of these players who are on loan. To make it, a smaller fee. But if they've made a decision on Jose, if they're like, look, we're not going to have this guy going forward, what's the point when you've got £30 million invested in someone like Fabio Silva, who's going to be there, the long-term future? Surely these are the type of games that you can play in because it's going to be more valuable for him than a play that you've got nothing invested in.
That's the question, isn't it? Do you go with your future big money project and try and get experience behind him, or somebody who you say at this minute looks like not worth signing, especially at that 22 million figure? I think it's a toss of a coin, and if I was probably to guess, I'd imagine Jose might get the nod. But personally, I don't see what there is to lose from playing Silva. I think he's shown a decent appetite. Yes, there's still a lot of flaws in his game. He needs to go on a proper physical program over the summer, to kind of bulk him up and perhaps try and get him in the gym to gain a yard of pace. I don't know whether you can coach pace, but whether you can improve him physically and maybe get an half yard, that might help him. But he physically gets pushed off the ball, but there's an appetite there, and that's what I like about him. He's had his difficult moments, and he's not ready for week in, week out football in the Premier League, but he's had a fair amount of difficulties this season. He's kind of carried on and dug in, and he showed a decent bit of character through it all. If that's a positive you're looking for Silva, he does seem to have decent character about him. So I'll just kind of give him the nod, and as I say, it might just kind of be a bit to Jose that you need to be doing a bit more here.
I think also, Judah, just to say, because you're kind of saying might as well throw him in, but they're only 9 points above the bottom three, and they're only on 35. They're not quite safe yet. We saw with Fulham's win at Liverpool, you always get funny results at this time of year. You've been saying for about 6 months now that Wolves have got this great run of fixtures coming up.
They've got a great run of fixtures.
But you flip that on its head. If they go on a horrendous run and lose 3 or 4 of those games, they get sucked right to the bottom three. They're not quite safe yet. So I think, hopefully, I really hope the time for experimentation comes soon, and we can see Nuno try new formations and bring in fringe players, but they're just not quite at that position yet on 35.
Has Pedro Neto got to score more goals? For how good he is, do you think he's got to score more goals?
Yeah, probably. He's on 5, and I think he'd be wanting to be a double figures player, to be fair. But this is, I guess, his first proper breakthrough season. I think by the end of it, there's still a couple of months to go. He'll want to try and get himself as close to double figures as possible. And I think for a player of his quality and of his ability and the position that he plays, I think 10 league goals is is a return that you want to be targeting and getting near to. He's on 5 at the minute. If you can get 3 or 4 over the next couple of months, then that'll be where he should be aiming. I think he should have probably a couple more than he's already got. But he has been brilliant. It's very difficult to criticise him because he has, as we say, been the shining light by far and away for Wolves this season.
So Tim at the back, are we expecting Willy Bolly?
I think he's got to come in. What's the point in having him on the bench? I know they're being a bit careful with him because he's done his hamstring twice, and that's probably the most sort of repetitive and vulnerable area for injuries. But I don't understand why he's on the bench at the moment if they're not going to play him. So hopefully he'll be fit and ready. That improves the defence. It allows you the option of Dendoncker in midfield, and suddenly the team looks a lot better. So I'm looking.
Would you have Dendoncker ahead of Moutinho and Dendoncker and Neves? Would you?
Yeah, I would at the moment. I quite like that Dendoncker-Neves partnership. It's done well in several games in the past, and Moutinho is just not the Moutinho that we know recently. So that Arsenal goal kind of just sort of clouded over, ongoing issues with Moutinho. Really, he's not had a great game for quite a while. So I'd have Dendoncker in midfield. He offers a bit more of a presence in the opposition box as well. And as we all know, it's all about that first half and not letting Liverpool regain the confidence that they've lost.
We've got, of course, the return of Mr. Diogo Jota. Look, he's obviously devastating injury, but I don't think anyone would have expected the impact that he had at Liverpool. Joe, were you surprised with how quickly he's fitted in? I mean, you've gone from selling a player who couldn't really get in the Wolves side, albeit he would be in my best side, to fans desperate to get him back, saying that he's the key to why this front three isn't clicking for Liverpool. Get Firmino out and get Jota in. I mean, a stark, amazing contrast, really. And of course, that long-term injury, and he's back now and apparently fully fit.
Yeah, I didn't think he'd quite take off the way he did so quickly, but I didn't think he'd go to Liverpool and be a flop either. I thought he had the quality to go there and be successful. Maybe thought there might have been a slight bedding in period, especially how established that front three was when he arrived. But if you're picking Liverpool's front three, if everyone's fit, he's gaining every time there ahead of Firmino all day long. So, I'd imagine that he would have gone there and been a success because he's that good of a player and he's that special of a player. The way he drives past people and kind of slaloms through defenders is something I've rarely seen from any player. And I've said before, he's probably the favourite player I've ever seen play for Wolves. He was an absolute joy to watch. So I wasn't surprised that he went to Liverpool and was successful. Perhaps a little bit surprised just how quickly he was.
Tim, can Wolves beat Liverpool?
Yeah, hell yeah. Although it should be noted that their away record's a lot better than their home record. They've lost 6 on the bounce, which is just incredible at home.
Yeah,
but they've won 3 of the last 4 away, which includes wins at West Ham and somebody else quite good. I can't remember. So, and of course, they beat Leipzig in the week. So, Liverpool are the only Big Six team that Wolves haven't beaten since they returned to the Premier League in the league, and it's due to happen. So hopefully, they've almost got a fully fit squad now. They've lost 1 in 7. That should have given them a bit of confidence, and they should take to that field knowing that they can beat Liverpool, because absolutely they can. Burnley and Brighton and Fulham have beaten them, so can Wolves.
And look, I don't know if you know, but after this game, they've got a fantastic run of fixtures, Wolves. So it'd be great to go up that table. Right. Final score, please. Wolves, Liverpool. Mr. Joe Edwards.
1-1. 1-1.
1-1. Not like you to sit on the fence, mate. Mr. Tim
1-1.
Spiers.
2-0 Wolves.
Yeah.
Hey.
That's what I like. That brings to the end, I think, our little old Wolves 200th podcast. Final total, the total at the moment is, let me just refresh, £1,680 for breast cancer now. What
Amazing.
I would say, guys, amazing. So it's about £500-600 during the show.
Brilliant.
When you click off this, please go on to line. If you have enjoyed it, if you have stuck with us, justgiving.com/fundraising/Wolves Poddy 200. The links are in all our tweets and stuff like that.
Just give us on the left. There's no one else there.
Just give us a £5 or a £10 or whatever. That would be great. And remember, that silent auction for Wolves Foundation closes at midday tomorrow. All that information is on the site. Joe, it's been a pleasure, mate. Thank you very much for coming. Love it. Love it. Love it. Thank you for making this very special. Mr. Timothy Spiers, what can I say? Love the crown. Love the shades. We love you. Nice to come on and see your pretty little face for one special evening.
You only booked me till 9 o'clock. You're lucky I'm still on here, to be honest.
I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward with the overtime. 2.5%. Jeez. Oh, goodness.
Time and a half.
Time and a half, absolutely. Right, thank you very much, everyone, for watching. It's 9:40. We have gone over in the second half, but what else are you going to do on a Thursday night? Let's be honest. From Tim, from Joe, from myself, have a great weekend. Fingers crossed. 3 points on Monday night against Liverpool. Take care. Bye-bye.